Hi guys, welcome in. Yeah, 2 o'clock in what is turning out to be a pretty red Monday afternoon here as we make new lows, slicing through 4,000 on the S&P like it's not even a thing. But we'll see if we can't find some buyers to come back in here a little bit. That's the lay of the land currently, 1.9 for the S&P. It's getting ugly quickly. The Dow 1.25, 1.9 as well for the NASDAQ. TSX futures here in Toronto, not much better. Yeah, this is just a crazy move. We'll talk about oil coming up here. But remember, when we sat down this morning, we were up 2.5%. We're now down 2.75%. So a huge retracement off that ISM number this morning at 10 o'clock. If you missed it, the November ISM reading stronger than expected. That has everyone putting the brakes on the rally so far today. Happy to just maybe take some profits after what happened last Wednesday. Back to basically break even there for Bitcoin, Ethereum now down 2% on the session. Pretty red board to show you here now, 1.96 right across the entire thing. Not much left as far as green is concerned. That's Boeing, worth noting, still positive. UAL still positive, up 1.5. The industrials group, though, very negative on the day. Banks are leading in this move downside. Remember, we had a big move up in the U.S. dollar, some of the treasury yields back to the upside as well. Here's, I want to mention this one as well. CRM now down 8%. Slack CEO stepping away at the end of the year. So that's hurting Salesforce. We'll have a look at that coming up as well. Software names, though, lead as far as weakness in the tech group. Hardware equipment makers and semiconductors also all downside, along with energy stocks, as we saw there. Crude oil, just an absolute tank job off the highs. When I sat down this morning, it was 2.5% higher. Now we're down 2.75%. Hope your afternoon is going well. It's been exciting. Definitely a trendy kind of day. Downside, we'll jump into a few things we were looking at if you joined us in the pre-market. As per usual, to kick things off, ton of opportunity once again this morning. Sean is here. He's going to lead the way this afternoon and talk a little bit about one of his trades.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your trade of the day, and it's brought to you by Day Trade the World. Make sure you hit that QR code below to join the best prop firm in the world, and it's called Day Trade the World. Check it out. All right, real quick, real fast, because guess what? I got to get back to that desk. Look at the NASDAQ right here, down 2%. This is the move from the open, pretty much straight down. We did have a couple little, well, that's just a minute after the open. Nice little move up, then a fade, couple fades back down, and now we're basically at the bottom again. Why did we choose Tesla? There was some news today about some of their issues with their cars, some downgrades. We did have some Shanghai plant issues as well coming through. That's the issue with the cars, is not enough production coming out of Shanghai due to COVID policies and whatnot, and you're seeing the stock react. So if you could see Tesla today down 6.5% versus the market only down 2%, that was very, very important because we always look for relative strength and weakness. But it's been a little bit of a, sorry about that, a little bit of a roller coaster. I know that blasts ears off. A little bit of a roller coaster ride because we first waited. We didn't take it early, which we should have. It went up to 190, 191, right back into that pre-market high. But look what we noticed. This green line is, while we're just tanking, I'm still short right now. We're actually short right now, 185. I'll talk about that in a minute. But here's the green line. Boom, 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 right? That's the 200 period. Look at it, hit it there in some craziness. We did bump up about a buck away from it. But we started getting short down here, thinking, look, we are going to break this pre-market bottom. It did. It broke, and we got a great little bottom pick there at about 183.50. But then it started to go back up, and this is where right we're in the middle of the day here, about 10:30, 11 o'clock, right we're about to go off air. It started bumping up, and it was coming into some of this area. For me, I didn't want to be short if we got back into this area, so I treated 185, 186 as sort of the stop zone, and unfortunately, we did get stopped out there when we took out 186, which is because we should have held it a little bit longer until we get to our 200 period. But that's kind of like data mining. As we were doing it, the 200 period had to come back down a little bit. So looking back, probably should have held on to that. But then it tanked back in, right back in. Almost the minute we got out, it fell right back and went back into that 183 support area. That's where we started to go long again, which all these greens are longs, and then some of these outs up there on the red. But then it was like, okay, what are we even doing? We kept on fighting the longs. It wasn't wasn't working. Then we just went back and it took down our level right there and got out. We actually made money on the long, but then we just flipped over to the short into the 50 period. Bunch of outs here as we keep making lower. We got out on a 50 period break and we really haven't broke since. Now we're trying to hold Tesla. The idea behind this trade, it's not a simple one. It's kind of a messy trade. I just wanted to make this the trade of the day because of a few things. It was on our watch list. We looked to short. We only really wanted short today. We fought it for a while until eventually the market collapsed. And then you can see you're coming right back. We've already taken out this 183 bottom and now we wait to see what happens at 180. I didn't expand it any further because look at the ES. The ES right here is breaking through 4,000. When that happens, you get a complete flush down in the market and in stocks related, right? Tesla's to the downside, Microsoft's to the downside, Apple's to the downside. So a lot of these bigger names just can't get out of the way and you suffer the fate on a downside move in the NASDAQ. You could see Tesla right here, almost 70 million shares. I feel like that's a little more than usual, especially over the last little while. Tesla's been in trouble. We have a 200 high. It's your trade of the day. We're short a couple bucks in the money. I'm actually waiting for a 180 break. Let's see if it happens here this afternoon.
Yeah, going from bad to worse here, not only for Tesla, but the market trying to bounce. I mean, we're trying to get a little bit of a bid going here, see if they can't save 4,000 on the S&P 500. We give back all of what happened on Friday and slice through that spike low off the non-farm payrolls report in the futures. So a few things to note here. That's a watch list, guys. Make sure you grab that every single day before you come join us at 8:30. All you need to do is open your email. If you sign up, hit that link. Enter your email, it'll just appear in your inbox every single day. Arun, maybe we can do just a recap here to kick things off because we're approaching that 2% kind of area for the S&P 500. I mean, how important is 4,000 at this point?
4,000, I mean, it's gone now. So, I mean, on the way down, maybe you could have thought about it because we did bounce in front of it, but it's at this point irrelevant, I would say. It's a round number, but I mean, we've already cracked the stops. The reason round numbers come into play is whether people are going to play stops in front of round numbers, whether people are going to play stops trying to break them. That's one reason why. There's a lot of resistance that comes in. Also, you know, pegging to options and whatnot. Those come into play as you get near options. But for now, on a random day, on a random Monday, with no real economic news, yeah, we had that PMI that started this whole thing, but we stabilized, right? It wasn't until about, what is it, European close, until we got close to the European close, which was around 11:10 to 11:15 as we were starting to move down. This is a 5-minute chart. This is roughly when we started this whole leg down. And we are about 10 minutes out from European close. And since then, we just trended straight down, right? 4,000, quick move through 4,000. You expect that stops going off and whatnot. But when you look at it in terms of the big picture of it, this is one of those situations where when you get that V-turn off of the jobs report, you're expecting some strength the following day to follow through, right? So you either are going to go sideways for a bit and then go up, or you're just going to kind of continuing this little rally that we had on Friday after the jobs report and go up. But the fact that they've done another U-turn again, going into a quiet week for the most part, with a real sharp rally that kind of failed now, opens the door to questions of where is this potentially going to go to the downside. Now you really do have to look at the downside. And I'm thinking, well, we did rally from right here, which is 39.50 from that, from the Powell's speech. That was a quick rally, and we have a ton of space. Now we bounced near the 4,000. Now we broke 4,000. Why can't we go down to 39.50? I think that's got to be the next look here. If this market is willing to stay below 4,000, I think 39.50 is in play. Of course, you have that top near 41.10 and change. But for now, I think I would just keep an eye out for the next 50 points down, because that would be the next line of support. And if we break through those 40s as well, 39.40, then we're going to have to look at the daily to see where the next support is. But definitely opens the door up for 4,000 break, definitely opens the door up to that 39.50.
There we go. Some of the Chinese ADRs. We started the morning off talking about some strength coming back into Chinese ADRs. Even Tesla, Apple were showing a little bit of relative strength coming off the weekend. We had a whole bunch of Chinese officials saying all the right things about reopening, about getting things back to normal. A few individual cities in China also made moves to support those comments as well in reopening. It seems like, I mean, we were talking about this last week. It seems like there's these daily price adjustments on these, and then they just go sideways. So they gap higher and then just go sideways. Today we gap higher, come back into exactly where we were on Friday, and it's a grind all day long, dead flat now for Alibaba.
Yo, what's up? Wow, what a good move in the market here. Thank you for joining us back again, and a big shout out to Luca and Sharif. I've already, privately messaged these guys, and they just did a great job, and I want to thank them again, obviously publicly, for the show. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. Those guys did it 3 hours and never been together before. So big shout out to those guys. Very, very proud of them, and they should be of themselves as well. It's not that easy to do this. Okay, I'm still short Microsoft, $1.15 in the money. Tesla, $3 in the money. Tops we have as well right now. That blew up there. We're still holding a small piece. This is tops from the morning. Remember we had that 175 long? We just kept getting out because it wasn't doing anything. Then all of a sudden it blew up to the upside, and we were able to take a little bit out there on tops as it did retrace back up. I will talk about Alibaba. I'm just looking. I want to make sure that I take another piece out if it does come to the upside right here. 249.17. I just want to put that order in right now. Let's give it to 249.21 or so. There, we just put in our stop order for Microsoft. But yeah, look, I hate to say it. We're up on XPeng today. I shouldn't hate to say that one because we were long early and then it dumped out. What I hate to say is I'm not short. Look at XPeng just completely fall off. And I know we're going to talk about Alibaba and a few other names, but I want to talk about the Chinese ADRs that are EV names because that's what I traded today. XPeng, huge move upside in the last couple of days. You've seen it really. Here, let me see. Oh, no, I don't want to. That's right, I didn't fix it from my Tesla, so let me just move this over there from the trade of the day, which was Tesla, which I'm still short, and that's $2.20 in the money. I need to find an out for that as well. I don't want that to go all the way back up. Look at XPeng, huge move up is what I'm trying to get at. Nice move, up to 14, faded out today. So we took a long and got out of the way. I thought maybe if it dipped back into some of these levels from Friday, that we'd have some support right there at 12.50. That was a definite no on that. Fell in. We were able to take some money because it happened early, got out for a nice profit, then it fell back and we got out. The main name that we really took it on the chin here was our friend NEO. And that was not a good stock, man. NEO that's still the XPEV chart. There it is, NEO. So let's just refresh it and call it back up and zoom out a little bit here for you. So again, we'll just do full screen. So here's the NEO chart. Pretty disastrous move downside, man. I mean, the same thing happened. We thought that we could support this 13.25 area, let alone down to 13. We tried a couple longs. Nothing really worked. The market has pulled back for these names here today, down only 1.61%, but we started the day up pretty high. Look where we kind of bottomed out at, the same bottom, and this is the thing about day trading. And this is actually, I respect Arun for this as well because he's opened my eyes to some of this stuff as well. And that is that to understand that sometimes you need to, set your alerts and things like that because I completely missed this. We went right down to the bottom of the day there where we hit on Friday. And look where this move stopped. Not only did it stop there at 12.60, retraced all the way back to 13, came and gave you within pennies that same trade again and went all the way straight back to 13 just one more time. So yeah, big time movement to the upside there. And Doctor disrespected that one. We should have definitely been able to have that on that bottom of 12.60. So I have to keep saying YouTube names like that because I found out that Mr. Beast, do you know who Mr. Beast is?
I've heard of it. I've heard of him.
Yeah, that guy's worth $500 million right now. So
really?
yeah, Forbes came out, and so shout out to those guys. YouTube changing the game like we are on YouTube as well. But I think we still try to respect that. So even though the market's come down, let's watch out for 1270, 1275 or so here for NEO and just try to catch this. It was a falling sword early, and it's been kind of a muted point late. What do you have up? You have Baba up or anything like that?
Yeah, I got Baba. I can look.
You want to look at Baba? I don't know. I just know that the people kind of like Alibaba.
Yeah, we talked about Baba earlier today, and it's that 95 area. You can still see it, that little line with the triangle, red triangle up top. That's my alert waiting to get triggered above 95. That's when I wanted to kind of start looking at it. Yeah, we gapped up, and we were running into resistance. Let me see if we can actually get through 95, and then maybe I'll step in and follow this gap up. Well, Baba had other ideas. What does it do? It doesn't want to really go through 95. Yeah, we got that initial push, but I set the alert off when it was like 94. I'm like, okay. And then it just fell off. it's one of those situations where it seems like whatever the gap direction is, you kind of fade it, but then you also are rolling the dice because there's been times where it's gone completely with the gap as well. I've seen that a few times. So just be careful with anytime it gaps, there's going to be an aggressive move. You just got to figure out whether it's going to be with the gap or against the gap. And clearly in today's case, using the daily, they went right up into the gap and they just closed it, really. That's pretty much what was done as soon as they got down to 90. So now the gap is gone. The trade is back in play underneath 90 to the downside. Keep in mind, we bounced off this 89 and change. So for now, it does look like 90 is going to break. Well, 90 has broken, but if we can get through the day low, I think it'll just open up the downside. And keep in mind, 2 rallies back to Friday. Friday's rally in the morning started at 86. So I would reasonably say if you can stay underneath 90 and take out the day's low, 86 and change would be the next target on BABA to the downside as they do a full gap fill here on the day.
I wanted to revisit this Tesla. A lot of people still talking about Tesla now, 6.4%. Just made a day low. We're right now right at the open price of Wednesday last week, which was the Powell big move up. So we've given back the past 3 days, essentially, including the rally that Powell ignited going back to last Wednesday in that speech when he said rates are going to increase at a slower pace. This was this morning, if you missed it. They're going to cut their Shanghai production by 20% in November, pointing to rising inventories that are rising at the fastest pace ever in October. 100,291, meanwhile, cars delivered for Tesla that were made in China last month.
I just wanted to, yeah, thanks. We will get to that. You saw that as the trade of the day. I just want, if you can come here just quickly, I wanted to show you this chart right here. Look at Microsoft. That's 249.17. That's exactly where we put our order to get out, and it didn't actually hit it. So right to the 50 period and bouncing down. So that saved us there. If you guys were wondering, if we got out of some of our Microsoft, we did not. It came right up to 7. Now it's come a little bit lower. I've adjusted it to 20 now because I saw where that went, but came right up to that 50 period, and that's why, I don't there was really no reason to get short here on Microsoft other than 250. So again, sometimes using key levels, and we'll get to, we don't actually have Microsoft on there, but we will get to some more tech names, in a minute. But that's why we shorted it. It was 250, and then to get out, we're using some of these. But again, I don't have a huge piece, but I have enough to make it worth my while to even bother to look at it. And then just quickly again, because I see that people are asking about where my outs are. So Tesla, same kind of thing. Although it's fallen down, this was just at 183. That's where I was considering my out here for Tesla, 183. It's come down now to 182.50. I'm still going to watch out for 183 as my out. We're short 184.71. So we've got $2.30 in the money right now on that, and we're going to watch it out. So, all right, that's Tesla. Tesla struggles. Okay, we're actually on Tesla right now. All right. Look, a little bit of a wild one. I didn't do the greatest job there of explaining why we went short or why we liked the long, because I do have back and forth in here. It's pretty simple. The very first thing we thought about was going short, right? But we missed it a whole during the day in the open. As the market came in, we thought about 10 o'clock, the market had settled down. Tesla was definitely giving us negative vibes. So what did we wait for? I waited for a pop. We touched that 184, which is that pre-market bottom right there of 184.60. We started to bounce up. The first trade was a short against that pre-market break. So the minute it breaks in the pre-market, and I've said this over and over again, we haven't had huge success on these type of trades. So what I mean by that is when they start to break levels, because the volume, although it's great today, sometimes these stops are getting run. So it's like it'll go right down to a level that the algos know everybody's waiting to break. Once it breaks, and that was the bottom of the day, we get short. So we kind of get tricked into that. Then we average it out, comes back in, and we take a brand new low of the day. So that's a winning trade. But then it pops back up, and we start to get short in here. We wind up taking about $1 hit because it does break through 187 right there, and we get out. Unfortunately, the top was 187.30. We didn't have it again. We let this name fall into us. Okay, then we went long at that low of the day, and that worked up to 185.30 or so. So we make about $1 back on that, and then we just see the market collapse. We hit 4,000. We see the NASDAQ nowhere near 12,000. So we just start the shorting again, and then now you're all the way to the bottom. So Tesla, although it depends where we get out, it's not going to be a very profitable name, if profitable at all for me, because we had some major outs, and we're not really capturing it all because these are just like similar, smaller wins when it comes to the downside. For me, I'm looking at Tesla on a longer scale right now and just looking at this downside move of 180. That's what we said on our trade of the day. Let's see if the market has a 180 print in it today down for Tesla. It's been pretty nasty up there at 200. Let's see if we can go from 180 to 200 all the way back down to 180. So that's what I'm waiting for here on Tesla. Hopefully we can get that, have a $5 trade. You know, and again, it's not about the monetary size of it. It's just the market's heading to the downside. If I just keep scalping it out, like I got out right there when it broke the 50 period, I really don't want to get out again if it breaks the 50 period. So for me, I'm going to wait. And now that I see that, I'm actually going to cancel my out. So I don't have an out anymore. I don't have an out for Tesla anymore. It was going to be 183. Let's let this thing drop down a little bit more and see if we can get lucky on a fill at 180. But right now, Tesla continuing to work. Yes, Microsoft also back down near its days low. We already have a 248.40 fill, so hopefully we can come back and test that one more time. So far, so good here. One long, two shorts.
Yeah.
Hit the like button.
Yeah. For the first time, somebody mentioned in the chat,
And
does
a
Arun
subscribe.
have more positions than Sean? Yes, he does for the first time.
That's it. Yes.
I'm good for now.
How many
it's
do you
not,
have?
It's not going to last that long,
How many
but
do you
yes,
have?
he does.
How many do you have?
I've got 4, one more than you.
Okay, that's it. I need to find 2 trades.
Going back to Tesla. Okay, I'm just going to do it real quick. I'm just looking at the daily. I didn't trade it today. It was in the price range that I wanted to trade it, but it is now going to be entering a price range. I would imagine, maybe not today, but definitely keep an eye on Tesla because where it's coming into, that 180 area, if you look at the daily going back down, it's through that 179. We kept support here going back to the end of November. There's going to be some support. I can pull this on a 30-minute chart, and you can see the support right there. I've drawn this out in like a zone here. There's going to be some support here. Whether we grind through it or not, that's a different story. It's not going to be dealt with today. So, I mean, it'd be pretty impressive if we fell another $5 today on Tesla through the support zone. Then you're really in trouble on the daily chart. But for now, it is going into a support. Just be aware of it. There's going to be some funky stuff that happens as the market falls. And Tesla's the number 3 or 4 name in the index after Amazon, I think. I got to check that in terms of weighting, right? So if Tesla starts aggressively going through this, it's going to drag the NASDAQ along with it. And we saw what happened with Apple today, right? It spiked up and then came right back down through those 150s. Well, that doesn't help the situation if Tesla's also heading down through a major support zone. So just keep an eye on it as we work our way through 180 into that 177.5 is where I'm going to say the bottom is on that support zone. But for the next $4.50, it's going to be tough sledding, I would imagine, as buyers willingly try to step in. It's a completely different story if you come in tomorrow and we gap right through it. That's going to be a big issue in terms of trying to find trades, because then it could easily just accelerate, right? But just be aware, we are entering a zone, potential bounces in the next $4.50. Doesn't mean it's going to happen today. Market's already at, almost 2% to the downside and aggressively moving. There's no leading stocks in the NASDAQ 100 right now. The biggest loser, 6.5%, Tesla. There you go.
Just come back here quickly if you can, Rob. You didn't, that was fine. I just want to say something quickly, just about trading strategy, because I just went long Meta right here at 05, and then I got out right away because I love Meta holding down here. If you guys are looking for some longs, I know we're just going to talk about casinos. I just want to talk about this quickly because we are near that bottom. Meta's holding out during this move down. To me, though, it's like I don't know if I want to go long Meta while still being short Microsoft and Tesla. So if you guys are thinking about a long, and I sorry to interrupt, but if you guys are thinking about a long, I think I'm going to say Meta is probably the trade. And I want to put it on, but I don't want to put it on for small, I want to actually put on some shares. So I do have to regroup a little bit here, thinking about Microsoft and all these names. But I do like the Meta long. I just wanted to talk about that, Brendo, before we went into the casinos.
Yeah, no, it's a good lead because it's on a day like this, you find it hard to kind of lean long when the overall market is so very weak. Day lows coming into play essentially as we speak right now. The one group essentially that was strong in the pre-market outside of the Chinese ADRs. These ones, LVS, MGM, and Wynn, the casinos all to the upside on this China reopening hopes, I guess is the best way to call it. Now down 1% here for LVS, guys. Another one just kind of grinding along day lows.
All right.
Gap up, fade the gap. I mean, that's what all of they haven't really done. If you look at the LVS chart, it hasn't really done anything. It was just a quick move back down in the first 30 minutes, and then we're just sitting here at 47.50 all day. That's the 30-minute chart. Let's quickly take a look at WIN as well. I imagine it did the same thing. Yeah, first 30-minute move, and then just completely sideways. And you really can't do a whole lot when a stock is, in terms of tradability. If you were there to fade the pop. Or fade the pop up at 87 in the morning, and then it comes right down to 85 by the time it hits 10 o'clock. That's it. That's your trade. That's the only trade for the day. So if you were on top of it, you made money all day. Now, I would just leave it alone. Look at the daily. It's in a run to the upside, and it's not coming into any major support zone. So I would just leave it alone. You had that 30-minute window to make some money in the morning, and now you just come back to it when it does set up again, I would imagine.
All right, I just want to talk quickly again. I'll tweet this out. I'm just getting it set up here because we just got out of our Microsoft one more time right here off of these 250 shorts. I'm just looking at it. I am thinking about, I'm really getting close. I want to hold on to the Tesla. Maybe I will use that 83 as an out now because it is bouncing off of 82. But I did just cover a little bit more on Microsoft. Way too many outs, but we had such a good, it's just like, it's mind blowing here because I hold on to a big position when it's going against me, but then when it starts to go in the money, I'm just like, oh my God, there's 50 cents in the money, I gotta take it. And then when it drops down to this $1, I don't have enough on board, right? So I have to start to be a little more conscious of holding things a little bit longer. So right here, I am getting out of Microsoft. I don't wanna let this thing rip back up to the upside. It is down 2.5%. I feel like capturing profit, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. We always wanna have huge wins, right? And it's that's sort of the dream. Is oh my God, can you believe I took $3 on Microsoft? That's the way I used to think. And then it was you know what? These last 6 months or so, and I've talked about this, I've never seen some of the moves that have happened in the market, especially with some of these names. Microsoft can be here, and then you blink an eye, and then it's 50 cents higher or lower, and you're like, what just happened? Especially if you do get some Fed speak coming out, it'll really, really move the market dramatically. So, in this experience, I've upped my share size. We've done really well for everybody on the show and myself. Obviously this year, coming out to be a fantastic year. And so as you up share size, you do have to sometimes switch up some of the trading and just think about, hey, maybe I do need to take profits at certain levels instead of holding for those home run trades. So that's what I'm doing right here on Microsoft. We just got another piece out at 248.60. So there it is. It's out and it's right back in if you guys like that trade as well. All right. So for WIN, again, feeling kind of foolish because we didn't look at it at all today, but I just saw Arun's chart there on LVS. And honestly, and I called up WIN and it's much of the same. There's not much happening right now. I don't want to go short this name for sure. It's been a great name to the long side, especially in the last 3 weeks or so. So let's just see if it holds it. It's at these levels that I thought it would hold. Remember we said we would put a bid down here at, what was it? I mean, you could rewind the tape. I'm pretty sure I said 84, 85 was the price. And just like LVS, look, I haven't traded it today, and I was saying 47 maybe as a bottom there for LVS. So there it is right there. It's already come into 47. So we called these moves. LVS needs a little bit more to go, but I think WIN really did dip the most into those levels of some key support. So yeah, if you like WIN right now, let it load up on the 20-minute. I think it's a decent spot right here at 85. So a pull back down to 85. I'm actually going to sit there right now that I see this. So let's do that. Let's sit here on WIN near 85. If we drop back down, let's take a long. I like these spots for the casinos.
We're just having a look at TSM. We can touch on some of the chip makers here. A lot of people were discussing them early on this morning. There wasn't much to look at today. We're back to essentially, speaking of relative strength, we're back to essentially the lows from Friday only here for TSM. And I bring this up simply because there's an event coming up in Arizona later in the week because with President Biden. They're going to do a ceremony with regards to this $2 billion plant that they're building in Arizona. They said this morning, NVIDIA and Apple are set to be the first customers from that plant coming out of the U.S. for the first time, which is good to hear. So back to, as I said, just Friday's lows here, guys, for TSM. A lot of them, though, below that.
Yeah, when I talked about TSM earlier, I said it's in the middle of a range. You see it on my chart here. I've drawn the bands that I want to get out of, either above 83 to play the breakout above below 81, breakout down below, or you play the range if you're good at trading ranges. Now, I passed up on the range trading opportunity because I'm not a good range trader, straight up. So if we're going to get the breakouts through there, then I'll jump on board. What do you get? Essentially, you get that flush through 81 one time off the 10 a.m. Figure. So that's all you really got. As it flushed through 81, came right back into the middle of the range, and now it's kind of drifting back down, but it still hasn't gone to day lows. Markets are well below where we were at 10 a.m. now. S&P was at 25, I think, and when they put in that low through 81. Now S&P is below 4,000, and they have yet to get to 81. So clearly relatively strong. At the same time, they haven't taken out the range in any meaningful way. So it looks like the strength is there, at least for now, through the bottom on TSM. But again, until it actually gets going and starts responding to the negative sentiment of the market, do you really want to go long here? I would pass up on that. But you also don't want to go short here because they haven't cleared the support zone. So you're kind of just stuck here waiting for TSM to kind of get out of this area so we can actually participate with the market moves, as the market is now down at 39.92 and still breaking down, potentially looking at 90 very soon. So you're getting acceleration in the market as we go on to the day, and TSM is seeing it and saying, yeah, you know, I'll join, maybe. I'll just take my sweet time with it. This is a 5-minute chart now.
We are collapsing.
Yeah, we're falling off fairly quickly, and TSM is just doing this. It's like, yeah, we'll come down to, I guess, for now. But still does want to take out 81. So TSM still in range. Keep an eye on it. The range is intact. It'll make a move at some point, but for now, until we can get through the zone and clear it with the market as well, I can't justify any trades in TSM at the moment.
I was talking with, Pratt over the weekend all the time, but I saw one of his tweets, and it was like one of his, the negative things about him was he overthinks things too much. Like I don't know.
But a lot of traders do that, though.
Exactly. So I was actually going to get to that point right now, and you just took the words right out of my mouth. So yeah, traders think alike. Then, needless to say, you know, I was saying the same story, and then right away, you know, Arun thought about it as well, and that's what I wanted to come through and say. And it's just, I feel like on Microsoft, the same thing just happened right there. It was right at the bottom, and then again, I'm seeing the dollar signs, and I'm like, yeah, maybe this market wants to bounce, and we got a piece out at 248.60. It was actually, and now you're seeing it all the way down to 248.20 and still falling down. So like, a little bit of a mistake made by your boy there getting out, but you know, we can't cry over spilled milk. I mean, we waited for Microsoft all day there, and definitely hit it well to the downside. So I can't complain being $3 in the money on Tesla, $2 in the money here on Softy. So the only thing we don't have today, it's a positive trade for us today. The only chip name I ever normally look at is AMD, and this is not going to age well because look where we were short, 74.70 here today, and look where we are now, 73 flat. So again, some good outs at the pre-market bottom for sure. Then we took our last 20%. Each one of these is 20%. Our last 20% out for flat, but we were able to take 30 cents, 40 cents. That's 74.15 short there, 50 cents, and then another 30 cents, and then out for flat. So it was a good trade for us on AMD, but let's zoom out a little bit more here and now see, because now we're getting, I mean, I don't know, Arun. I know you already did a little bit of a futures talk there, but I'm thinking, are we going to bounce anywhere? 72.70 right here. I think that, you know, we got to let this kind of float out a little bit into the afternoon. It's only 2:33. I want to thank everybody for coming through. Please hit the like and the subscribe button because we're here. Neil's going to be back tomorrow, and I got good word. Prad just messaged me as well. He's feeling all right. He should be back in the building tomorrow as well, so that should be fun. And again, a big shout out to the two guys, Luca and Sharif, that did a fantastic job. Was really impressed with them. 72.50 maybe as a spot here, looking to do something. And we looked at NVIDIA earlier when it was kind of barcoding and not doing a heck of a lot, and that sort of has obviously changed. This was NVIDIA. Remember NVIDIA in the morning was like this? I have, like, what happened there in the middle of the day that shot this thing to 170? I mean, wow, see you later. You're right back into support again down here. What are these levels? 165? Like, I love these levels, guys. I really do. I like these levels, but are we actually going to try to support these? I mean, speechless. I mean, look at Tesla. Let's go, man. That's a... I mean, you know, this is just... Oh, by the way, man, I crushed the burger game yesterday. Like, got some ground... You eat burgers or not too
yeah.
often? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know they're not like, they can be pretty healthy. I don't just
I don't know how you're going to
I
justify
just
them
have
being
one.
healthy, but
No,
yeah.
it depends what you put on. I mean, it's just, so that's what I was saying. We have, well, so this is the thing. You have to have a hamburger with a brioche bun. That's the problem.
Okay.
So we have that, and then I just make it myself.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just
Okay.
ground beef in there.
Yeah, but what's
some
your ratio, though, on the
spices.
ground beef?
No, oh, you want me to tell you the problem?
yeah.
I'll tell you the problem. Is normally I like medium, which does have, what is it, 25% fat, something like that?
So you're not even doing 80-20 then?
80-20, that's the problem. So the problem is that we went to Costco, and what kind of ground beef do they only have?
I don't know.
Lean only.
Right? So
yeah,
that's
so
like
I
90?
wasn't able to mix it.
Okay.
So I made them a little thinner because I didn't want it to get too,
Smash
needs the
burgers
fat
are
in
way
there.
better anyways
That's what I
than-
had. So I had the smash burgers. We had those. They were kick butt. And I don't even know where I was going with this, but we did have some good burgers last night. But I can't remember what I was even talking about.
I had burgers on Saturday night, and it was the ones with the cheese in it. It was like
Ooh.
the cheese,
yeah,
not
yeah.
the stuffed ones, but it's like bits of cheese mixed
Inside
into
of it.
Yeah.
You didn't make those yourself, or did you? I think that's a great idea. I need to do that, actually.
No, I think my buddy made it.
Your buddy made them. Okay. Yeah, no. What was I talking about, Rob?
Something about stocks.
Oh, something about Yeah, I know burgers and stocks. I have no freaking idea anymore. Okay, so we can move off of that topic. But anyways, yeah, cooking with Sean. That's what it should be. There it is right there. It was fun, man. We had the barbecue going and everything last night. It's not a problem. But I don't even remember what I was getting at. Anyways, it was good food there. And we're cooking. Maybe that's what it was. We'll barbecue up some profits right now. This is the problem here when I talk too much. Well, I talk too much every day. But, we don't have a script here, and we're doing this show live. So I think of something, and I can't remember what we were on there. I'll have to look back again.
Talk about oil. Brendan.
Yeah, let's wrap this up anyways with a look back at oil, because this was quite the reversal off of that 10 a.m. number as well. We actually got two, if you recall. 9:45, there was the S&P PMI number from last month, and then at 10 we get the ISM services number. So this is about 9:45. So they actually kicked off the selling off of that S&P number. This was up. This is oil for today. This was up 2.5% at the high. This is now down pushing 2.8% lower. So not a good day, guys. Actually 3.3% now that I see that lower for crude on the day.
I don't want anybody to ruin the Brazil game, but I made a bet, and it was a boosted bet on FanDuel, and it was that Brazil would score in each half.
So 2 goals.
So it was
separated by
plus 150. So you bet 100, the ticket's worth 250. So you get the one, bet the 100, you get the 150. So the ticket worth 250. So hopefully Brazil has scored in both halves. I'm not trying to root it or that for anybody. You guys can let me know if that is true. But I think Brazil is, they're just world number 1. Brazil, world number 2, Belgium, see you later. World number 6, Italy, never made it. England looking strong too. They dealt with Senegal there. And then of course, shout out, I have tons of Portuguese friends. In my neighborhood's pretty much all Portuguese. So I kind of cheer for them, although I kind of, being Italian, it's like Portuguese and Italian. We kind of go back and forth with each other there. But okay, now Tesla's coming up to the upside. I do like, Spain's been okay this tournament. I do have Croatia. Croatia, I guess, beat Japan. I'm not sure. I shouldn't. No spoiler, I don't actually know, but I heard some people talking a little bit about that, as I do have some Croatian relatives. All right, so just looking here, you've told me to look at a little bit of a longer range here. So we're on oil, but I just want to look at Tesla, as Tesla's at the bottom of the day, 181.60. We're still waiting for 180 flat. I was debating just getting it out if we took down 182.60, but what the heck, man? Let's let this thing fly here. We do have a decent position on. It's coming into the close now. I mean, not really. We have an hour and a half away, but it's a nice move to the downside. Let's try to hold some of these positions close to our chest because we don't need to give them up. On oil, though, I've been looking at XLE. So I know I've recommended oil throughout the summer months heading into the fall, and I still stand by that. I don't actually hold oil itself. The instrument that I keep talking about is the XLE, and that was just at 2 weeks ago was at its highs. So now it is pulling back. And again, I don't I think once you could break lower here. I was thinking again about getting some more 76, 78. Now I'm trading ZEO, which is the one in Canada. Again, this is just another, it's very similar. Just I had some Canadian funds lying around. I was part of a buyout that worked out well there. And you could see same kind of a name. The chart doesn't look as pretty. It doesn't have as much volume, so some of the candles are what they are. But still a nice little high there of 69er. It's falling back in a little, but I may dump this if we get near 64. So watch out for the 50 period. It's been a nice run up. These names will also print you out dividends as well. So I do like oil coming into play here. I think XLE and some of the names here that are involved. I mean, look at the downside move today. It's been pretty nasty. Here's the 1 minute chart. Here's the 20 minute. Here's the 3 minute. I mean, oil been getting absolutely destroyed. You talked a little bit about it. So I would say just watch out. 85. If you're in down here, 72, 73, 74, I mean, nothing wrong with taking some profit. There's never a problem with doing that. So watch out. Maybe an 86 break, which could happen today, tomorrow. You might want to start to lighten up a little bit on your XLE trades here because oil seems to be broken right now, and I don't really know why. I know the Saudis keep talking about turning the spigot on and off again, but being down 3% right now, not great for oil. So hit the like button. Hit it, let's go. I feel that's true. Someone just said in the chat, have we dropped too far too fast? What's up to Steve G? I mean, earlier on, Arun, we'd already talked about these levels. Like, I talked about this 12,000. And I was like, honestly, we wanted to go short. I started the day short Apple, which we could call that up. That's actually my lowest. The stock I'm actually down the most on NEO, but second is Apple, which is crazy. I started the day short on Apple here against that 12,000 NASDAQ, but unfortunately it got real excited and started to go against us. Wow, Apple, okay, wow. We were short, what was this? 149? 148.80 there. We got out when it took down 149. It ripped to 151, and now you're down at, a nice, all these names are at such nice bottoms though, man. You're all the way down now to 146. So we did mess up a little bit on our Apple trade. I mean, mess up, I don't know, you could call it what it is. We got out of there, tried to go long again, trying to protect it, but that didn't work. Short Apple is what's coming through here today. So I don't know, man. Some of these names just continue to be pretty bad performers into what is a continuously red tape with no bump ups. You want to talk about being overdone. Like this is lower high, boom, 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 boom. Tried to get going there. Another one, another one, another one. So I'd say we need to at least break this 50 period, and I'd say 11,800 or something on the NASDAQ to get going before we even talk about, a sort of a recovery here in the market. I'm holding on to these shorts. Tesla now, Arun, Flush City, almost $4 in the money.
Yeah, everything's going down. I mean, it's pretty straightforward how the market is. It's too far, too fast. But that's a realistic thought, except I'm starting to notice in this market, it's not even going that fast. It's just going down. It's just taking its time and just trickling down and finding 2 points here, 3 points here.
That's why it's so tough to hold, I find.
It's tougher this way because it's harder to manage it, right? It's different if you fell like, 10, 15 points in a very short amount of time, but this is just taking its sweet time, going a few points at a time, and then just continuing that move and not bouncing. But I would worry about potential profit taking, especially at this speed as we get closer to the end of the day. Brendan.
Not going to be a huge story, but just a heads up on Tesla, guys. Barron's reporting that the Swiss government could potentially introduce a ban on electric vehicles because electricity is in short supply in Switzerland.
Yeah. I mean, different parts of the world have different issues, right? And I guess
here we go. I mean, the Swiss are always possibly, I feel like, just trying to do the right thing all the time, maybe. I just don't know. Like, you can't, if you're going to solve one problem, and I think it was actually Rob sitting on the board right now that was mentioning to me about electric cars, and he said the infrastructure is not there yet for EVs, right? And so as Switzerland noting that out, they're not going to ban EVs. I mean, I think that would be a crazy story, but hey, that's what Brendan's here for, giving us the story. So I mean, how many cars, I'm not even going to task this to anybody, like how many cars do they even sell in Switzerland? I don't think Europe would ever do that kind of a move. I mean, even when I was in, did you go to Paris? You just came from Europe. Was there charging stations all over the place? Like when I was in Paris, right on the side of the road, there were charging stations. Like I don't see any in here in Toronto whatsoever. Not one damn
Yeah,
station.
you know, to mention it, yeah, if you were parked on the street,
Yes.
there's like these little poles
Right.
that would extend right to your car, and these are just like normal parking spots, not
Like
even
parking meters, you think.
Yeah,
Like
they're
they're
not
not-
even like special charging
There you
stations.
go.
You just park on the street, and there's like a pole with a thing that you can just put in your car, and it'll charge it for you. That's pretty cool, actually.
And
It just reminded me of that.
I think it was free. I mean, you guys in Paris, let me know. It's probably not free. You probably need some kind of a code or something like that. But honestly, people were just rolling straight up with their EVs, Tesla, all, and plugging it in and charging it up. As the wife and I, of course, were just sitting down watching, and people watching and having our espressos and whatnot. What you do on the patio in a lovely sunny day in Paris in the summer. Wow, we're going to roll. Well, you're traveling a lot already. You're talking about going to New York, and you just got back from your little adventure. But we're going to Rome as well in the summer, so that should be a lot of fun. But we're bringing the kids, so. Yikes on that one. We'll see how that goes. We're already booking the underground Coliseum tour. Apparently that's like 6 or 8 months in advance, down where the cells were and everything like that, where they held the warriors and all that kind of stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Warriors, criminals, whatever you want to talk. But anyway, those guys were, good word, gladiators right there as well. So, all right, so let's go on that one. That should be a lot of fun. So we're actually already starting to book that as you go. All right, where do you guys think is the bottom here? Am I getting too greedy waiting for Tesla 180? I mean, am I just waiting for it because it is 180? Yeah, to be honest with you. It's just an even dollar level there. And, you know, even though I'm waiting for it to come through, I don't even know if I'm going to I don't even have a bid there. So I want to see the 180 level, and then maybe we just fall. This is where I am channeling. It seems like, you know, whenever you're here, I seem to be getting some of these trades on, which is great. Well, I mean, you are not, it doesn't really matter, but definitely trying to hold things a little bit longer. And I think that, you know, we want to let the market take us out of this position. So as Tesla, and that's a direct line from the guy to my right here, as this continues to fall down, we still have that 200 period, which is still looming to the high side. And we only have 10% of our position, 20% of our position left. So it's not a big, actually a little bit more than that, but it's not a huge spot on anymore. But here it comes. Look at this. Now going to take down 181 now and pushing lower on Tesla. So as this market continues to go, like how bad does that look right now? And I thought it was a pretty decent out when we took it because it popped back to 184, 183.50, breaking the 50 period. Tried to follow the rules all the way down on Tesla. It broke the 50 period here, we got out. We sat there, took a brand new low of 183, then put a trail out for some of it when we took the 50 period. Now debating to do the same again, but that looks silly now. Let's not look silly later and try to hold this all the way down to 180. Nice move there for Tesla. Microsoft falling apart. And guess what, guys? Tops. Still holding out, man. It bounced off $2. I like this name. Let's see if we can get it back to 250 again. I like Tops. I'm going to put an offer right here, though. I'm going to put an offer. Excuse me, you know what, forget it. Our day's going good enough. Let's just wait for this. 240 would be kind of interesting on Tops. That's where I'm debating putting an order in here. Someone's calling, what's up, Dan McIsaac, bottom 181, 121.50 on Meta. I know, I want to go long on Meta. Oh, by the way, we'll talk about Netflix. Ooh, good thing I got into this one. I like the long on Netflix, but maybe not today. Brendan, give me another one.
Just be aware, guys, on Tesla, Reuters reporting that the Shanghai plant output cuts we reported this morning, that report is untrue. So just be aware. I mean, it just made a day low, but just be aware again, that report about December cuts, untrue apparently.
Well, alert whenever you get that. Like, all I'm hearing is December, that report about the Shanghai plant. I'm like, oh yeah, baby, let's go to the downside because we're in the money $4 right now on Tesla as it continues to go downside. So I have no idea what's going to happen now. We're down 7% here on Tesla. We're short at 185. It's at 181. Still trying to make new lows here. Just is making new lows. What am I talking about on the day here as the market is as well? So, hey, man, hold on to your shorts. I do respect what it wasn't Dan McIsaac. It was someone right above him. And I apologize. Oh, it's James. What's up, James Trotter? Do I like Meta long? Yeah, I actually really do because Meta's been strong. But again, how the mighty Meta has fallen, we know where this name has come from. And just because it's back up to 121 doesn't mean this name is overly strong. I do think that on any kind of a bounce, Meta will work. Look at this bottom right there, 120. Okay, now that I see this, I literally like, contractually obligated to take this because, which is not true at all. But I'm just going to punch in to a little long now, see where it goes. So we're long here. I really like this name off that bottom 121. I'm just looking at it right here as well. It goes back to early month here, December, which is just last week. But you have a 121 bottom. Let's see if it holds that. This is a nice move to the downside here. Meta, we've been sort of battling with it. Remember when we were in and out at 122? That was a good idea, because we did not hold for the bottom. So let's go long. So right now you're seeing we're long off this bottom. That bottom wick is 121.35. I'm gonna stick another bid there. If we take 121, let's get out. We could definitely hold 50 cents. It's well worth it. Here's the long in Meta. We just took it. Already in the money, 10 cents. Not worth it. We're gonna scalp it to the high side. If this does go up to like 122-ish right there, we will take a piece out. So we'll try to make 50 cents on this, and all is good, man. So Tesla right now bouncing off 181. We might have to get out of that one. And Microsoft not really moving down as much as we thought there. That bottom of 248 and change. I'm thinking a 249 out, or we're starting to break higher. Maybe we have something right now. There's Meta right now instantly. Look at that trade. Wow. Instantly in the money there. I said I was contractually obligated. Well, I just gave myself a raise.
Nice.
So not bad. Let's go to the upside. Raise could get taken away real quick though if I don't
You're going to take it away from yourself?
I am, because if this Meta doesn't go upside, then I've essentially given myself a pay decrease. So let's see what happens here with Meta, and see if we get here we go. See if we get a nice little upside move. 122. Hey, that's coming out pretty soon. So let's see if we can get upside right now. Take a smooth 40 cents on this early trade here for Meta. Thanks for bringing it once again to my attention. But it was always in my mind that we did want to have a Meta long, just waiting for the market to give us that opportunity.
Yeah, talking about market opportunities, let's talk about a trade I made this morning, and this is because there was a question in the chat I've been meaning to answer. I haven't really gotten around to it. When we were short on the equity side this morning, the futures market was starting to stabilize after 10 a.m., so I ran a hedge on the futures market. 40 long, but the 30 stop. Clearly, that one lost because the equities are winning, right? So I've got a bunch of winners here on the equity side. Futures trade lost out. That's perfectly fine. But the reason for this bounce, I think this was the question. It's like, why do you think it bounced? All right, let's go back to a different chart. Let's use a different chart here. Okay, so you got 10. This is my thought process and why this market kind of fell off a little bit. That's too. Now let's go with the 30-minute. So after we fell, obviously we were leaking going into that 10 a.m. number. We flushed. The attempted move back up. Anytime there's a number and people are trying to interpret how this is going to play out with the Fed, and that's what you get with numbers like this. Unless it's a very clear directional move, like jobs number is something like that, where it's an interpretation exercise. Is this good or is this bad? I think what's become very clear now is CPI is very directional. High is bad, something that comes in under is good, right? That's just been pretty much cleared out. That area has been cleared out. But now all these other numbers that come out that we pay attention to, what's the Fed going to do? Is this good? Is this bad? And that's what you're going to get. If you come down aggressively, and that's what you saw, oh no, this is bad, flush down, catches a bid, because this is the same area where we caught bounces from on Friday, that 30-25 area, we caught a bounce. So we flush down. This is that one candle right there. Let me go back to the 5-minute. We flush down right here, starts to stabilize and starts to moving up. At this point, you're still above support down below, and you're still in a downtrend. So you rally back up a little bit, and then you catch an offer right back into the 45s, and you fall apart. I think the trade that really kind of turned the game here is going to be that break of 30 and that 25, because that's where the majority of the support was. If you go back here into Friday, where did we really bounce around? That 31, 32 area. So we cracked that, we're gone, and now we just open up the shorts to the downside. So I suspect that this was more of an interpretation time for us to figure out how this is gonna play out at support, and then we realize, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't good. Boom, down you go, and here we are now below 4,000 and bouncing off these 39 and change. So in terms of positions, let's go through my positions here. I've got 4 positions here, 3 of them in the money, 1 of them out. SI is the only one that's out of the money right now. One trade that I had this morning that I don't have right now is Roku. Roku's, with the rest of the market trending down, Roku was a nice little play, but we just kind of took some profit earlier. And the biggest winner right now is Etsy here. You see me short right up here, 141. 20 is the short on Etsy, and where's it trading at? 136.5. So that's like $4.60. We've already taken half of it out here in front of 137. The reason being, this was meant to be off the daily, right? The whole play was meant to be made off of the daily. That's why I'm taking the 37s out. Let's pull the daily here. It's coming back in. I needed to take some profit out in front of what would have been the day low of Friday. If you go to a 30-minute chart here, you'll see that there's some action. We were kind of stalling out here a little bit on Thursday as well, and then we got the move going on Friday. So why not respect that 137, take some out. So there you go. That locks in about $4, and we'll let the rest go and see how far it wants to go. And then you see PayPal and Zoom. We know the story. If you guys watch the morning show, you know the story of PayPal and Zoom, where it was all over the place. But yeah, I stuck with it, and now Zoom is still about 98 cents in the money, and PayPal 75, and then SI is out 20 cents. So those are my positions for the day. I'm probably not going to get into any new ones unless I can get perfect setups. I think one trade that I really did want to capture was Netflix potential here on the 315. That opens up a nice little consolidation. Remember, this has been one of those trades where Netflix has been moving very aggressively in the last little bit here. Quick moves. We saw that move from 280 all the way up to 3 and change. Then we saw that initial flush from 304 all the way up to 318. Then we saw yesterday's open, or Friday's open, from 310 all the way back up. Now we're getting this move back down through that 315. Just keep an eye on it. Netflix has this tendency to do this where it puts in a new high. We've seen it time and time again. Last time I was here, I warned you guys about this. It has this tendency to put in this aggressive rally and then retrace. New high, retrace. Another new high now, third new high in a row going back, starting in October. And now it looks like it wants to fail one more time. If we take out that 310, I think the 310 is going to be critical here. If you take out that 310, that would get you underneath the last high, which could open up some stops and then back towards 300. So just keep an eye on Netflix. It's been aggressive. It's been providing opportunities for trades.
Netflix.
Yeah, so it's been providing opportunities for trades if you really want to get involved. Obviously, the easier trade today would have been the 315, but now we're at 312. So at this point, you really got to keep an eye on that 310, see if we actually are going to break down on the daily as well.
Like normally I've spent the majority of my time trading looking for bounces and trying to catch like, when a stock is at a level, is it going to bounce? So first of all, let's just go like that. That's more for AMC. This is more a hard thing. And then let's do this.
Money.
All right, it's been a while. I don't think I've hit that in a couple days for sure. I was going to say maybe even a week. I heard Sharif hit it. He likes that one. But look at Meta, man. I mean, this is the other thing. You got to wait for some key levels. Remember I said contractually obligated to take that? I mean, it came right back in to 121, so we grabbed it, and we instantly take that 40 cents, and now we'll hold out. It did get as high as, it went over 122, or close enough to that. Well, yeah, it did. 122.03 was the top there, so that was 50 cents in the money. We got out, like we said, at 84 or something like that. Well, that's where it is now, but that's where we got out. So nice out so far there on Meta. We'll hold it out for that. But I'm just wondering, are there other levels of stock that have come into play here that have just gotten crushed on this move down, and maybe heading into the close now, we could get a little bit of a relief rally in some of these names. And I'm going to go over to Square quickly here. Square today has double bottomed right now. So it bottomed first at 62.50, went back to 63, tested it, which is the 50 period, didn't break, came back down, tested 62.50 again, now testing the 50 period and trying to break higher. So if we zoom in, there's the retest on the 50. Here's the back to the day's low. That's a reload right there. That's not a reload, that's a long period. Comes in, tests it again and breaks it. So this is where I'd be like, let's go, let's go. But then it failed again and came back in. So I'm wondering if these prints are actually real down here, 62.60, 62.70. I'm gonna sit. I mean, do we think this market does have a chance to bounce here? I mean, because if it does, I really do like this Square back down here near 62.60. So I'm going to wait for a trade for Square. It's down 8% today, much more aggressive than the market, obviously. We can check out, let's check out his brethren, PayPal quickly, because again, payment processors probably to the downside, as FinTech really has been a big time laggard in this move. You can see PayPal. Can we find out, Brendan, did Square get downgraded? Because I'm surprised. They normally move kind of together here, PayPal and Square. I know Square does have a little bit more, it's Block, sorry, has a little more exposure to crypto and whatnot, but that doesn't seem to be right. PayPal, nice move to the downside right now, but nothing like what Square's doing. So I want to try to find out more about keep saying Square, but of course it's Block. Downside move today, bouncing. So this gives me a little bit of a thought that maybe we do have some upside potential here in this name. I'm just letting them all bleed down right now. I did put a Tesla out at 182. If we take down 182, I was going to say I wouldn't mind getting out there on Tesla. So if that comes back up, but now you're seeing 182 right there. So we'll wait to see if there is any news on Block or Square. Brendan has put in the chat he doesn't really see anything. So that's making me think that, hey, this stock just got taken to the woodshed today. Not really sure why. There isn't a direct relation to anything here other than the market coming down 8%. What is Coin today? Have you looked at that yet? Arun, Coinbase down only 4.
I think someone in the chat mentioned it one
Block
time.
seems to be way too weak here.
Yeah, someone in the chat mentioned it earlier, and I think I did look at it, but I just don't remember
Looking
what
to
the
see.
price is.
PayPal, Apple Pay. I know. I mean, that's the problem with PayPal, right? And we went to this real fun thing on Thursday, or was it Wednesday? I think it was Thursday. And there was all these individual booths there, and I like to support local businesses and whatnot. But every single one of the booths, we bought our kids some pendants, an amulet, as they say. So both my kids got, and they were $30 each or something. But stones from Madagascar, they're actually really cool. But they all had little square tappers there, so thought that was pretty cool. So shout out to small businesses trying to get some there from Square. So all right, Microsoft 249 out. We're not out yet. Tesla. What did I say? 182 out, Microsoft 249. Win, we're not in yet, and we're debating buying some of that Block.
All right.
That's all I got.
There's a couple people in the chat going, "Why is the market falling? You don't know why we don't know why the market's falling." Well, I mean, we also don't know really for sure, but at the same time, if you look at 10 a.m., just after 10 a.m. when we got that ISM PMI figure, where it came out a little bit better than expected, which is going to not be helpful for determining what the Fed is going to do. We kind of fell off, stabilized, and then as Europe was getting to a close, we just kind of continued to sell. So it seems like they're just reacting to the ISM figure that came out. Although we were still heading downward, I think that figure just accelerated the process a little bit. They needed some time to digest it, but once they did, continue on down. Now we're below 4,000, opens the door to that 39.50. What would happen in the next little bit is, I think it's going to be critical here, is so as we broke through yesterday's low, what I've got here is 40.35. And when I come on today, assuming we don't get a 40-point rally by the end of the day, I'm going to use 40.35 as the next point. So if we get back above 4,000, most likely we will. If we get into that 40.20 to 40.10 area right here, I want to see how this market handles that previous low, that initial drop on the jobs number low, right? If we get back into that 40.10 and we just have no juice up there, no strength, I think you can easily call it a fade, run a short, 40.35 on the stop, and see if this market goes back down. But given how this market's moved, let's just say that we don't get any profit-taking covering rallies in the next half hour or so, and this market just stabilizes and trades right through here and then continues its move in the overnight session, that becomes a problem because then the further down you go, the more of an issue it becomes because then you start running to support levels, right? The easier trade, I think, would be if we actually bounced. For a healthy short, if we actually bounce, it would actually make things a lot better in terms of getting rid of some short-term sellers, opening up the trade a little bit more in terms of levels, instead of just going in one direction all day and then continuing it overnight and then coming in tomorrow, us being down another 30, 40 points. And I wouldn't know what to do if we went down another 30, 40 points because then we're running to support. Do I really want to go long into that kind of a drop? But at the same time, we're running to support. So could I justify a long? It's a tough question to ask. I think the better trade is a bounce which then allows you to stay with the trend. So sometimes you need that counter move just to kind of clear the board a little bit, allow you to participate in a big way, because you see the names that are starting to jump on board on the short off the daily, right? We talked about Netflix. We saw Apple now crack that 150 break, and Apple's the big name in these indexes. Apple broke through 150, trapped some long, got some stops out, flushed back through, took out that 147. Here it is at 146. What does this look like on the daily? Not good, right? This is what it looks like on the daily. If you get rid of these two red lines, let me get rid of these two red lines. What do you get? A nice little reversal bar, and then you also can argue a downtrend. I mean, that doesn't bode well, I imagine, for Apple, especially if it's refusing to get through 150. So a lot of the stocks are starting to look the same in terms of trajectory. It's just a matter of how far can this market bounce to kind of open up the trade a little bit more to get us so we can jump on board.
Wow, Lucid's back down to 950 right now. Some of these stocks are getting absolutely destroyed, honestly. Like, I'm actually waiting for bump ups rather than take profit. Like, I'd almost rather wait to go short now. It's power hour, so welcome to that. Let's go like that. We'll get some trades on right now. We still have the Tesla short, Microsoft, Meta long, 30 cents in the money, and Tops long. So, as we said, how many positions do you have? 4? Okay, we're tied. All right, so let's go. Right now, and it's of course not a competition. We're just playing around. We missed a trade right here. I like this Uber trade. Look at this, a retracement back. Look at Uber today. Absolutely disgusting. Getting killed, down 4%, 3.5%. It did retrace back up almost to the 200 period of 28.05. We got to 27.95. I would have shorted that over and over and over again there against that 28 and then just giving it to 28.05. I really like that against the 200 period. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more opportunities like this right now as we speak. So let's go over to some of the Chinese ADRs, see if we see that, because there's been strength in these names. So again, yeah, NIO's not as nice. I'm just looking at a 1 minute chart because I feel like 3 minutes, they're gone. These names are gone. I need ones that have bumped up. So we lower our time frame right now. Look for names that are going to bump up. So this is 1290. We're getting close to that. I'd rather use 13 as a high here. So we're going to have to wait for NIO to see if that's going to spike back up. What else do we have? Let's check out some Intels, maybe some AMDs, things like that. Shout out to Neil. He's always on Intel. Don't know if he would be. Ooh, don't know if he would be today, but Intel right there. Nice move up. Look at that short right there. It doesn't matter. Hindsight, big time short in the morning. We had the AMD long, actually. You guys know that. Here's Intel coming in. Intel's only down 1.3. Let's just check out what is AMD down today. It was down more than that, I believe. Yeah, okay, so this is the name we want. Yeah, so we're still away from that one. Close to 74. We don't mind getting short on this name if that does come through, but right now it doesn't look like it's hitting that. So AMD, a little bit of away from that. I'm just looking for something. You guys help me out in the chat, man. That Etsy, you have that trade. That's a great move there for Etsy. What is that, $4 in the money or so?
Almost 5.
Almost 5, so good. So we've got the killers on board right now. $4 for Tesla, 5 for Etsy, $1.50 for Microsoft as Meta's coming back in here. NVIDIA, I don't know, man, 166, like that was close there to come back in. I'm still looking. I want to get more airlines. Tilray's dying, someone just said. Let's have a quick look at that. Shout out to KL in the chat. Good look, man. Whoa, yeah, Tilray is dying today. Oh, darn, too bad. Yeah, that was nicely up there. Like, if you guys see this and like you think Tilray's dying, like the minute it breaks, something like when these lines are together, the 50, the VWAP, and like that's a almost like a perfect storm there when they're all melted like that. So 490 downside, now 450. This is where we went long on Friday into the close. We were long here on that break of the day's high. We actually did really well on that move for Tilray. So right back into 450 again. Let's try the long 450 on Tilray.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll try it.
If you're going to do a long, I think now would be like around this time makes sense.
Yeah.
If you have a reason to do it, like if you can clearly find a reason to go long, profit taking, you get into the final hour, especially the final half hour, 3:30 would be, I would imagine, was roughly the time when things will start, starting to move a little bit more than they have been so far. Because we've done a lot today. Although it's been done somewhat quietly, we are down 2% on the NASDAQ, 2.03% on the NASDAQ. ES is 1.95 to the downside. So we have done quite a bit here, almost 80 points to the downside on the ES. And I would imagine a lot of that does need to be settled up, right? Although my position on Etsy is, doing well, I got to defend this in some fashion because I can't just hold on for the sake of holding on. At some point, this is going to break to the upside. I imagine as buyers or sellers are looking to get out. I've already got some out, but I also need to get out as well. So at some point, I got to work my way out. I just got to figure out where I'm going to do it. I'm not going to rush to the exit just yet, but hopefully, and that's all we can really do is, it does continue, but expect some buyers to come through as short-term players are going to move off the board, and they cover by buying, right? Brendan.
Just having a look at this MSOS, there was a big move down there going back 20 minutes or so. I was really not able to find much on this. Apparently, there's a House Rules Committee that was supposed to vote on something when it comes to cannabis at 3 p.m., which was exactly when this started. So watch out on some of these cannabis names.
Wait a minute. Somebody was supposed to do something at some time,
and they didn't do it.
Oh no! Oh no! All right, we're gonna go long anyways. We already talked about why we're long Tilray. I'm fine with this trade. We're long at 56. Is there? We punched in. You saw me punch in. So hopefully you guys are either on this name or you're not. If you don't like it, then that's fine. I'm gonna take a piece out at 60 to go upside there. And all we're sort of doing is like stacking right now. We're stacking some profits on top of profits, and if that keeps on coming through, then we'll like that a lot. We're almost out of our, that's Meta. Microsoft, 249. We're looking at that break right there. That might even be a break long. I'm not in that camp yet. I'm not in the long camp yet. I don't know why. We went long Tilray. I'm not ready to punch long yet. It's not. There's something about it, man. I just don't think we're there yet, but we're getting close. I mean, the ES and the NASDAQ, ES is back to 4,000. You can see right here, almost back, 39.99, almost back to 4,000 right now. It only dumped down 12 handles, back upside, so that's nice, back to 4K there. And that could turn the tides for sure, creating this long. I'm pretty close to taking that long. I'm pretty close to also going long square, 63.20 right there. I'd like to see a break of 63, then get up into this section and take down that 20 and then go. But then again, my mind just always says, hey, this is a nice move to the upside, but one that we should probably be fading back in again. So, Tesla continuing to work, your Etsy's continuing to work. I just want to take something that's bounced up that I can short. So that's really, look at Palantir, man. Palantir, we were just celebrating it the other day that it went to 780. Yeah, well, now it's down 7% again. Shout out to Henry Z, as Palantir is just getting destroyed there today. Just nothing but downside on Palantir, right back into $7 again. So this is another name that you could possibly look long in. The only thing that's working long right now is Meta. Look at this name. There it is. There's the explosion now to the upside for Meta. Meta really going right back up to the 50 period. This is now 70 cents in the money, almost as if there's news right here. Microsoft's offered Sony a 10-year contract for Call of Duty, it looks like. Okay, so we'll see about that. That should have nothing to do with Meta, but it's a nice little break here for Meta. And there goes Softy as well, upside. Things are starting to go now with this market. So let's see, maybe the long is coming back in. We are now out to end our trade there on Softy. Maybe it's a long. I don't think so. I'm not willing to push long yet on these names, guys.
You said Microsoft offered
It said Microsoft offered Sony. We already know this. So Microsoft's trying to buy ATVI.
Right.
Activision owns Call of Duty franchise.
Yeah.
So they're going to the panel and saying this is not, it's anti-competitive because, you are taking away a franchise away from Sony, because what's going to happen is if Microsoft owns it, they could say Call of Duty's only going on Xbox, right? And then they'll have to charge. So they're saying it's not fair. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. Activision Blizzard goes ahead here with that proposed buyout. So we're going to wait to see there what the news is on that. But the Competition Bureau is going to have a look at that offering. I feel like 10 years. I just look at the life, my kid doesn't even play Fortnite anymore, and that's 3 years old, right? Valorant's probably had its run. A lot of these games, Prad, Amazon released a game that Prad was playing forever. I don't even hear the guy talking about that anymore.
No, he mentioned it one time, a very long time ago. He's like, yeah, I kind of just stopped playing it.
Yes.
But those games are different, though. I feel like Call of Duty's had a very long lifespan just because it's created its own little group of players.
Right.
So I feel like it's not one of those flash in the pan type of games, where Call of Duty has a good base, and every year I think they go in different ways. They don't always do the same.
Black Ops and all that.
Yeah,
kind of
so
stuff,
they don't always do the
Warfare.
same type of game every year. I feel like they go in different directions with their gameplay. They go back in history, they go into the future, blah blah blah. So I feel like it's got a different base. 10 years,
it's probably been around 10 years. I don't know. I remember it was around.
To be fair, I do have Black Ops and I do have it on the PS5. So, doesn't mean I'm going to play. I also don't have a ton of time to play, but at the same time, when I do play it. So I would like to keep it on the PS5 or at least on the PlayStation Network if they can, because it's, good game, I think. Anyways, it's good to pass a couple hours here and there if you have time.
I forgot you don't have kids. That must be nice.
Yeah, you know, it's nice. It's nice.
Tilray,
But,
nice
like,
bust up.
What's that?
Tilray finally made a move up there.
There you go.
Call of Duty, someone said it's been banging for 20 years. I feel like that's about right.
What?
Call of Duty, I feel like it's been around
probably.
for 20 plus
I'm
years.
late to the party on Call of Duty, so I don't know how long it's been out. It's been out for a while, I imagine.
Yeah, 20-year-old game, not 10. Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. I said it's at least 10 years old. I mean, I was going to say, like, I haven't even looked at that in a long time, those kind of games. But shout out to everybody that does. Okay, right now, Tesla's the only thing here that's not really moving. We did get a nice, so there's Tilray in at 56, out some 50. Did I get 59s or 60s there? Oh, I got 60s. So we actually got 60s. So out there quickly. Look, I'm holding for higher here. Let's see if it can go. 482 would be a nice little take. I'll be happy with 475. Let's put some offers here at 475. Let's put it at 469 or so for Tilray, and then we'll see if it can get back up to the upside, and we'll watch out for that one. Meta now is booming to the upside right at this period again. So we've got a nice little trade brewing for Meta, and we're just trying to let this one go. If the market bounces, man, I know we like Meta, and I know I like it at this spot. So let's just watch it. We've got the long now. It's starting to break higher. I really think 123 is in play here at VWAP, so I'm going to wait for that. Hopefully that can come out when it gets up there. I'm going to put an offer right now, 122.70 for Meta. Hopefully it fills. Hopefully you have it with me, and we can celebrate that together. Meta to the upside, 122.70. I'm putting the offer right now.
Yeah, I'm just looking to figure out what I want to do with some of these positions that are not as deep in the money that I would like. Obviously, PayPal and Zoom. We've been in PayPal since I don't even know what time. It was early, 9:30 in the morning. We've been in PayPal since the open. Okay.
I like it.
And we've gone a whopping 74 cents since then. We've held it against us. From the daily. I'm playing this off the daily. So let's go to the daily real quick to figure out where we can potentially get some out. There. And I've got a target, but I don't think we're going to get to that target. My target's down here at 71 and change. Yeah, probably not going to get there. Another $2 in the next little bit. So I'm going to look to take some out. Let's see where a micro level could. All right, maybe not. I'm going to have to leave it. Okay, 73. Yeah, okay, we'll leave it. If they get above here, get these 20s in a, I'll get some out. No, I'll dump it all actually. If we get it all out, break this trend. Yeah, if we keep going up a little bit more, I think another 10, 15 cents, I'll just dump it out. The only thing I'm doing is, I know these names because I've been in them all day. I know that they should have moved a lot more than they did. So it tells me that it's being dragged to the downside. It doesn't really want to go to the downside too much. So although it's taking its sweet time and the setup is there and the chart's there, it's having a hard time getting going. So if they're going to show me a sign of a bounce, first sign of a bounce, I'm going to walk. And we're just going to take a profit on PayPal and Zoom and see if we can't lock those in. Etsy, obviously responding well to the market, so let that one go to the downside. And SI is just doesn't even care about that 24, so that's bouncing back up. Brennan.
There's a big volume spike there on Rumble, right at day lows, back to the upside. Not a huge move, but just a heads up. Apparently, native ads now running on Truth Social for the first time, and they said soon to come to Rumble, the video app as well. So some volume there on Rum.
All right. You want to take this over for a second?
Yeah. All right, what do we got here, SI? What are you guys talking about? Oh, Boeing. Damn Boeing. Damn, you guys are not letting Boeing go. Okay, so we missed out on an entry on Boeing here at 83 and change. Why? That's a 30-minute clear breakout, right? Clear consolidation breakout. Daily looks solid, too. After, this is kind of the window for the opportunity for longs here, I would imagine. After 10 o'clock, that flushed down, come back up, 83 long. That would have made sense, 83 to 83.5 long. Obviously, you got that first leg up to 88.5, bounces back down to 85, catches the bid. Why does it make sense to go, for it to bounce right off here? Look at that, previous highs from earlier in the day, so it makes sense. They kind of got into it, bounced back up, and now just going sideways. So let's figure out the next trade here on Boeing, because the initial trade was down here on the consolidation, overnight consolidation, and Friday's end of day breakout. Now we've got well past that, and now we're consolidating again. So I would imagine the next breakout would have to be taking out not just the highs, but given how close we are to that 190, I would have to force it and leave it to flex through 190 because that's a wide range. I mean, like that is, we're obviously consolidating. So I would have to let that one go through 190 as it moves to the upside. And you look at the daily and does it have space to the upside? Yeah, 190 would be the next checkpoint here as we move into some resistance. So if we can get above that resistance level and trade, that would open it up. The flip side of this is if this falls through 180, I think is going to be the better trade, is playing through this bottom here. It's tough to get into a trade that ran strong today and then went sideways and then now is sitting underneath the resistance level, right? So it's better off that if we're going to fall like this, or if we're going to make a move like this, that we just fall. We fall back into support through this 181 and change into the 180s. There's some previous highs and some consolidation lows that you can work with, catch a bid, and then bounce it back up because the daily does support that. So I would just leave it be until we get some sort of movement. This is what we kind of did with Tesla as well. And obviously, you're going to miss out on some opportunities there if you choose to play specific levels and not just trade the stock every single day. Tesla, obviously, I was looking for this 210 here, 210 through 200. I was trying to work this because it's a multi-month level that you can work with, but Tesla has already gone past it, and today was an intraday move. Next up for me on Tesla, I think is going to be that low going back to the end of November here, which is around 77.5. If you open that up to the downside, again, you break through the support level, you grind through, and you're going to need to grind through here. If you're going to break support, you're going to have to grind through there to break the support level because it'd be hard to believe that Tesla would just snap right through in one shot without news, right? If it's one thing to get news and move through, but if you're just going to kind of trade through, it's going to need to be done with some volume. So as we move on down, I would imagine there's going to be some hesitation. But as long as they can keep it going, and once 177 goes, that should open up the downside as well. And the market tried to bounce to 4,000, bounce back down now at 96. So it is still trying to catch a bid here as some people take some profit, but it's not really gaining any traction whatsoever to the upside, not yet anyways. That could change in a hurry at 3:30, by the way. So as we get into the end, some buying programs get turned on and whatnot, and that's how you get imbalances and whatnot. So we could still get a nice little move at 3:30, 3:35-ish as some programs get turned on. So I just watch out. That's all I'll say. It's been a big move to the downside on a lot of these names. You have Apple down 1.3, Microsoft 2.4, Amazon's at 3.3, and then you have big dog Tesla at 7% to the downside. So you have all these names that are moving down strong. At some point, someone's going to find value in these names. Maybe like, oh, you know what, Tesla's gone too far. It's a nice basket purchase. Let's go ahead and buy some. So if you get those kinds of events happening, they kind of happen at 3:30-ish, 3:35, and then maybe the imbalances. But in a quiet week, going into a quiet week, I wouldn't expect too much. But at the same time, we've done a lot today, so they might want to do a reversal move in terms of purchases or even some covering as we get near the end.
Yeah, we'll wait. Thanks for doing that. We'll wait to see because at 3:30, Brendan's going to come with a number from Financial Juice, and at that point, we'll see where these imbalances lie. I just want to talk a little bit about Tops. I don't know if you guys are still in that name. It just tried to take it out again. Like it might still do that, do a little bit run. There's a little bit of volume you could see just coming in right there, right now. So there was a little bit of a top break possibly here around 225. So watch out for that. I still think that this can move, man. I mean, if Tops wants to break that level, there's really nothing stopping it. We did have a share offering today, which sucks because higher. The idea was that you eventually, I saw some people talking about $10 on Tops because here's the daily. We've been up there before, but then today, which tends to happen, and if you guys trade these small cap names, especially when they run like that, that's always the risk of swing trading them instead of just getting out when you see the big move. And we always say take a little bit of profit, but there it is, closing at 450, opening today at 150, and we had that trade real early. Brendan brought this to our attention. I believe I'm not sure if this name's on our watch list. There's a couple names that are runners that are on there. Right now, Tilray, by the way, starting to work out as well. So we'll get out a piece of that. It's only 7 cents in the money, but still a $4 name. So we're happy with that. 5% in the money will wait a minute. We're 4 cents in the money on a $4 stock. Yeah, 1% in the money, 5%. That'd be nice. Right there, 1.7. That's where we took it. A pre-market break high. It breaks before 9:30, but that was okay. There was a lot of volume in this. Then it spiked all the way up to 190. We thought we were pretty cool getting the most of that out there. And then honestly, look at these barcoded outs. 185, they're all there. 184s, 185s. Then eventually we get a 189 there. Let it go all the way to the top side. And we didn't, this happened so fast it actually halted. I was trading other names. We didn't have too many shares on board when it halted there. And now we're just waiting for the same kind of a move back into the upside. So hopefully that can come through. 225 right there. I think if it takes it, I like to push the long maybe one more time there in tops. So glad we had that. Whenever Mike Crean, shout out to you, Mike Crean. I have sneaker cons on today, but you still have one of my favorite shoes there. Those Air Force, or those Dunks, they're my favorites. You want to look at SoFi, so let's do that real quick. It's at 450. SoFi showed up on one of the scanners today. I can't remember why. Let me see what's happening here on a 1 minute chart. I don't know why we're yelling that or why you mentioned that over and over there, Mike. But yeah, breaking through to 450. It's looking pretty sick today. SoFi down another 5%. What are we at? All-time lows? No, SoFi all-time low, I think it's 350. No, that's a 20-minute chart. Let me check the daily chart here. Is that why you're yelling? Yeah, 440. It's 440, not 340. Sorry. For SoFi. So SoFi again. Yeah, looking to be at the bottom. Not a good move there. Meta's pulled back. Tesla tops. Tilray, they're all still on board. Looking for some more trades. SoFi might be a good one, but honestly, Mike, for right now, I don't really see that. And I want to say shout out to Mike. I don't know if you saw Mike, but on Friday there, you weren't. No, it was Neil on Friday. Shout out to Playmaker. He gave me some they're knockoff Yeezys, but they have the Green Bay Packer logo on them.
I was here on Friday.
Oh, did you see me open the shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was Neil that I have to bring them into show. Yeah. So that. Oh, did I have them with me then that day? I must have brought them home. Maybe I opened them on Thursday. Did I open them with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Friday. So it's Neil that hasn't seen them yet. So okay. So I was just debating. Like, I sort of have like a. It's not like a shrine, but I have like all these Packer things downstairs, and
it's a shrine.
I guess it sort of is a shrine.
Yeah. If you've got a lot of things downstairs, that's all
did
Packers.
Did you know that I own the Green Bay Packers? Like,
Yeah, how many shares?
One.
Okay, that's all you need.
Yeah, part owner.
That's all you need.
You know,
You're a part owner.
Minority stakeholder.
There you go. He's a stakeholder. He's a minority stakeholder
of the Green Bay Packers.
There you go.
So you guys might have never. Look, we have a little fluffy thing there. You guys might have never met an owner of a NFL franchise, but you now have. Right?
Okay, I feel privileged.
That's right. So shout out to a fellow colleague of mine, Jerry Jones.
There you go.
Who also owns a franchise similar to myself, except for his team is doing a little bit better. But did you know that who is the most winningest club in NFL history?
It can't be the Green Bay Packers, can it?
Incorrect. It is the Green Bay Packers. So we are now the most winningest team in NFL history. So there's that.
Well, when was the last time you guys won something?
Very, very long ago, but earlier than Dallas.
Is Sharif still here?
Who cares about Sharif? I already told Sharif already. Dallas is on fire, man. He knows all about Dallas. Dallas is hot fire right now. I think Dallas does have the best opportunity to take down the NFC right now. Their defense is playing amazing. The way their running game is going, and that's why I said that. I've already discussed this all with Sharif. He's an historian. He knows what's good. So the Packers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the three most traveled teams in the NFL. So. You don't have a favorite, do you, anywhere?
No, I don't really. I mean,
I like the Bills, though. The Bills are my second favorite.
It's crazy because I played sports. Like, I played football through high school.
You're kidding.
And college. And I did not.
College?
And
really?
University.
You played football there?
University.
Oh, okay.
And,
I didn't know that.
University in Canada, college, whatever. And it's like, it's a sport. I have sports that I'll play and I don't really care to watch. And then there's sports that I'll watch because I can't really play them. So the only sports I watch are ones that I'm not really good at. Tennis, I'm looking at you. But yeah, just random sports
Tennis.
there. Tennis.
It's a fun sport.
I mean, I can't watch the marathon matches, but I do watch randomly here and there on tennis matches.
What? SoFi reverse splitting?
I will look that up. That was not what I was going to mention, but I will look that up. 9%, however, for this one. Snowflake, guys. I was just going through a relative strength list. 9% for Snowflake. Credit Suisse on a downgrade today for them. I saw a few people mentioning it was down huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right now, we are on one right now, and we're not actually on one, or else we'd be doing some of that, which we don't do. So you could see $4 right now and 67 cents. Nice little upside. There we go. Just offering and get out there right away. Nice move up for Tilray, man. That trade is smoking. Shout out to Jim Carrey there as well. Good trade there for the mask. You seen the mask?
A very long time ago, damn.
Me too. I have no idea what it's all about. Will we be seeing, what's up, Mashid? Will we be seeing this move continue this week? Or, for Tesla? Wow. We've made a hell of a lot of money back in the afternoon, man. I'm really, really happy with the way the trading's been. So shout out to everybody that's in the same boat as me, man. It was a rough start for sure. And then now Tesla, $4 in the money. You've sort of seen the damage. Meta has been in the money here, huge. You have any opinion on what the longer term chart looks like for Tesla? I mean, I'm trying to answer you guys in the chat, and honestly, I mean, if we bring this up for Tesla, I would bring you up a daily chart on eSignal because it just fits better than what I have here in front of me with our charts, because we don't have the reverse split. I put the ticket in to do, sorry, the split, not the reverse split. Look, I like to, whenever this is pretty sloping down here for the 50 period moving average, and it's even turning even more now, you're now even taking down, I mean, this is the 200, so forget about, that's the 50 period. I actually don't, I'm not sure why I have this green line on here. I think that's probably only a 20 period. I'm going to find out more about what that is there. That kind of, it could be VWAP. I don't have VWAP. I don't use VWAP on a daily. So, but you're well below the 50 there right now, well below the 200. And I don't know, for me, Tesla just doesn't look great here. We tested it. So whenever you make these bottoms there, and then first of all, we retested that bottom and broke, but then you went all the way back up and basically rejected at 200, which is the next resistance level. Whenever you get that rejection there, twice. So look, makes a new low, comes up to 200, rejects, then makes a brand new low again, comes up to that same level, rejects again. So for me, I think it's edging towards making a brand new low again. So to me, a take of this 169 could be possible, should be possible. I'd look for Tesla retracing back down to 170 just based on, you know, a little bit of basic chart reading there. The problem with Tesla is it's so like news dependent. If China can't get itself figured out, then you're going to see this name continue to get smoked to the downside. They talked about that Shanghai plant, although Tesla, and I think it was The Verge or someone came out and refuted that talk there, that they're going to have a 20% decrease in their production in Shanghai. But you know what? I always say this, when there's smoke, there's fire. Most of the time, unless it's a chemically induced smoke, right? So generally speaking, when there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm just thinking to myself, Tesla's in trouble here, because if they are going to get a decrease in their production of that Shanghai plant, they've dropped a lot of money into there. So I would be very, very nervous about that being the case. So for me, yeah, I am a little bit worried about more downside for Tesla. Will it continue as far as buying options and stuff like that? I feel like they're probably really expensive. You do have next week coming on the 13th and the 14th CPI, followed by Fed. So, I mean, you know, you're probably paying up tons of money for all the volatility right now in the option market. So I may stay away from all of that. Holy crap, man. Tilray's a nice trade to the upside. We're still waiting for a 69er. We talked about planting an order there. I'll put another one there to get out of some more. Nice. Oh, we actually got out of a piece already. That's why it's not there. Hopefully it comes back up to 69 again. And then honestly, looking at this Tilray, or at Tesla, I'm going to take it out. We've let this go all the way down. We've already broken the 1 minute chart here on Tesla back to the upside, 181.37. Because this is such a longer term trade, I am doing you know, what I've been advised to do by the man to my right. Sometimes let these trades get them out yourself, right? So here it is. We broke the 50 period there. I got out there actually when that happened, moved in and continue. That's fine. I'm going to do it again. We've bounced off this 50 period a couple times. If Tesla takes down 182.20 or so, then we're going to get out, close the trade off at $2.50 and call it a day. I'm actually interested in your trade. Do you still have Etsy on? I wasn't looking. Mm-hmm. Where, I'll let you talk about whatever you want, but as my trades start to come back up to the upside, I just wonder if you do have a possible out there for Etsy as well, and what that might look like, because you're being praised for that trade, which is a fantastic one. What are you short, 140? I mean,
141.
Yeah, huge trade there on Etsy. I don't know. Any ideas on your out for that one as I look for mine?
Yeah, so as it comes back down, I mean, we've already gotten some out in front of 137. So we locked in at $4. I'm thinking at this point, I want to see we're, what, 15, just over 15 minutes from the imbalance. I want to see what the imbalance is. I mean, we're down 2.5%.
So you don't have an order out right now to get you out.
I mean, I always have a fail safe. Like
worst case.
If in the event something comes out and this market takes off on me, I want to be out. I'm not going to hold on for dear life just because I'm short and I want to see the imbalances. You know, I do have a fail safe which is above 138, right? So if we ever get to 138 before we get to 350, I'm out. I'll walk away from it. It means it's gone too strong. It's bounced up quite a bit. I don't need to see imbalance. But up until that point, I'm going to hold on and see what the imbalance is looking like, because Etsy has sold off, but it has done it differently than the market has. It actually has bounced here and there, allowing for people to get out. So I'm not too worried about a big flush to the upside because everyone who's short is trying to work their way out. That's not, a chart like this doesn't really kind of give you that vibe. It actually has taken its time, allowed for some shorts to get out, gone sideways, bounced up, bounced back in, and now here we are kind of flirting with that 137 once again. And that's perfectly fine, and that's normal as we kind of do what the stock is doing right now. So I'm going to wait to see the imbalances as we get to 350. Speaking of imbalances, let's get into it. We always have new viewers, so anyone who's been around, you guys know how it goes when I explain the imbalances. But for anyone who's new, imbalances, what we're referring to is at 350, they distribute imbalances in the market, meaning anyone who wants to purchase or sell at the official closing price of the stock. So at 4 p.m., you get the official closing price. But ahead of that, you have to send your orders and tag them in a specific way, called an on-close order tag, right? So if you have access to a broker that has an on-close order tag, most people do, you just tag it and you get the official closing price. So all those orders that get tagged like that, they get all piled together for each stock, and they send out the data feed to all the brokers. And if you have a broker that has access, most brokers have access, it's just a matter of how have they programmed it into your system. For us, this software is built in-house, right? It's our own software. So we just have something called an imbalance locator. And it kind of shows something like this. This is from this morning, some old data from this morning for the morning imbalance. But on the left-hand side, you have a symbol, then you have the direction, you have the size and the paired value. You can ignore the last two. So essentially what happens is at 350, every symbol that has an imbalance, you get the feed sent right here, and all these numbers will update, telling you how much shares need to be bought or sold. That's what the direction tells you, or the side tells you. Imbalance of, in this case, this morning, A had a sell side imbalance of 13,000 shares and a paired value of 14,000. So at some point, the total together between the paired value and the size was about, call it 28,000, 29,000. And they had already matched 14 of that. Now they just got to do the rest of it. So there's still 13 left to sell, right? So what I would do is at 350, we'll show you guys the imbalances. This only really makes a difference or if the imbalances are really big relative to what the stock has done on the day. If the stock's been, been doing a ton of shares, let's just say Apple, for example, 55 million shares, and Apple's imbalance is 250,000, not going to move the market much, right? The stock's not going to move much because it can handle it. So if you are looking for imbalance moves or imbalance plays, what you're looking for is unusually large numbers relative to what the stock's done on the day and what the book can handle. So at 350, you get that info. It moves around a bit, and at 355, you get the update with the floor interest as well. That's the one that really matters, because that's when numbers can change, when the floor brokers get involved in with their clients' interests and whether they want to offset the imbalance or they want to add to it if their clients want to sell as well. So at 350 you get one, and for 355 you get an update. And after 355 the numbers are still very large, then you're going to have some pressure on the name, and that pressure will move the stock in that direction, right? So if it's a sell side imbalance of 10 million shares on Apple after 355, they need to do 10 million shares. And obviously the number is going to get smaller and smaller as people chip into it, willing to offset it, but it does put some pressure on the name as the algos do need to take care of that, right? So that's what you're looking for. If you really want to play for imbalances, I would just wait for unusually large numbers. On a day like, on a random Monday, where there really isn't a whole lot going on, I don't expect imbalances to be too big, but next Friday, not this Friday,
18th or something, or what is the
whatever?
date?
Not 17th. 16th is the big rebalance day. That's quad witching with S&P, NASDAQ, a bunch of different index rebalances happening. So if you're going to look for imbalances that are unusually large, that's going to be the day where you're going to look for them, because those numbers are going to be nuts, because it happens, it happens 4 times a year, right? Every quarter. So I would definitely look for imbalances then. Those are kind of almost guaranteed to be large. Random days, they're not expected to be large unless there's indexing events. Sometimes stocks are moved from one S&P 400 to the S&P 500, or moving up or down, or removed if they're being bought out. So deletions, additions, stuff like that. If there's indexing events, the numbers get big. But if there's no indexing events and there's no special thing going on, I don't expect a whole lot. But there was that random day you were in an Apple position long,
Yeah,
and the Apple imbalance came out like 3 or 4 million. Even though that's not huge, but at the time it was enough to move Apple $2. So I mean, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, hey, can we get a PayPal and a Zoom and a Etsy imbalance to the sell side? If I can, I'm going to hold on to these and see if I can't take them right into 4 o'clock. If I can't, if these imbalances come out positive, I'll walk away. I don't need to be in it. There's no point in just holding on. I'm just waiting for the imbalances, and I'm giving it enough space to let it play out until I get to 350, at which point I'll make a decision on whether I need to close out or just hold on.
All right, so a couple things happened while we were gone, or while Arun was doing that. Thanks for talking about the imbalances there, Mr. Arun. Yeah, so look, NEO did exactly what we were waiting for. We were waiting for something to come up to the 200 period. We did that. We put NEO on right there. So, so far so good. We're short there at 88s, 87s. We just took it 84, then an 82, as it's coming in right now, printing. So hopefully it'll print even lower for that as we take a little bit of profit coming through there. You may have seen me, man. Look at Tesla. I switched it up, and I was going to say, instead of 182, I actually put an offer there to get more short. Didn't fill us. I was like, nah, I am not going to go long on anything. I don't want to go long. Meta, I'm still holding out for this one. It's been pretty strong. It did come up there. We could have got out of Meta as well. I was sort of thinking VWAP, to be honest with you, how strong it is. So 122.75, we'll still wait out for that on Meta. If this drops down, we honestly, I mean, it sucks if it drops in. I'd hate to lose on it, but I think, you know what, 122.40. We've already sort of been a little bit of a silent assassin already on this Meta, so let's just do that. We should have taken profit. We didn't. We're now watching the market fall back down, but we are now $4 in the money on Tesla, as that's near and at its day low. So let's go on that one. That's a bang up trade, man. Holding on to Tesla literally all day. I mean, this has been a huge move downside. I mean, this trade's not all day, but you know, we've been shorting it all day here. Finally, it's breaking and we're not getting out. So it's a nice move. We tried to get more reloaded there against 182.50, but that didn't happen because there is our 200 period on that. We're always looking to get a little bit of reloads. NEO did come in. Again, we got, did we get an 80 fill? What is that fill? 81. So that's where we're at right now on NEO, looking to get more. And then just an update as our shares are on fire. We got a nice little out there on Tilray as it did break above the 50 period, and we were able to clear most of that out at 466. I now have less than 10% left on Tilray, and most of these outs are at 66. So good trading there on Tilray as that's coming back in. Top's not doing anything. Tesla's now $4 in the money, and honestly, waiting for NEO to get lower here. These are tough. These are tough stocks for sure into the close because they just don't trade that much. Generally, NEO will kind of barcode throughout the whole afternoon. So for me, it's not doing a heck of a lot. There it is right there, Brendan. I don't know if you gave this number, but Brendan just gave it 223 million shares to sell. That was a while ago, so I didn't get to it. But 220 million shares to dollar-wise, notional to sell on the close, which is a nothing burger. We've seen it in the millions and millions and billions before. So yeah, it feels like the pressure's to the downside right now because guess what we did on the ES, Arun? We just bounced pretty clean off of 4,000 there. So another level to be concerned with on the ES as we head into the close. Now just a few minutes away. Yes, Tesla now $4 in the money and still making moves downside.
Yeah, I mean, for 7 minutes, we'll figure out what the number is going to be. I mean, it really shouldn't. I mean, you know what? Forget. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say it shouldn't even really matter. But in a market like this, that's thin, Maybe it does matter. We'll see. We'll figure out the answer. But going back to the chat, David Rodriguez, shout out to you. Thank you for the super chat there. Arun has taught me to take my time, let the market tell me what the market is doing, and to have patience. And I think that's the big thing here with the market as traders, right? Our job is to kind of just like make decisions based on what we see. But if you kind of have an approach to reading the market, whatever that approach is, instead of just staring at charts and be like, oh, it's going up, it's going down. If you have an approach, you'll kind of start to get the messages that the market's putting out, because it is identifying support areas, resistance areas, and you just got to get into the habit or figuring out, tapping into where the market's responding to certain pressures, right? Buy pressure, sell pressure, resistance, support. You just got to figure out, not just from the chart of it, but also from the feel of it, and that's a very vague term, I get it, but the market will give you that kind of indication, and you could feel from today that once we got through 40-30, that we were kind of feeling to the downside, right? Negative pressure, and we were just drifting down. So it kind of ties into what somebody else was saying earlier. Like, you hate that drip, but the thing is, though, that drip allows you to stick with it at times, because if you time it right, and if you can time the pressure, in this case 40-30 going on down, then if you position up well, then it's actually an easy management. It's tougher when it starts accelerating very quickly, but in that slow pace, yes, it sucks because you got to wait. But, you know, patience pays, right? So here we are kind of waiting on this one here as we get into the imbalances. Market's coming, bouncing back up. Yeah, we are 4 points. I mean, everything looks so overblown when you look at it on a very tight chart. Like, oh, it came all the way back, but then you put it in perspective and you're like, oh, yeah, it's just a bounce back up into the top end of that resistance level. Well, not even a resistance level, it's just like that 4,000 level. So we're just gonna leave it alone, let it be. Remember, we're still writing 4 positions here. 3 of them in the money, and then SI is just, it's 20 cents out. It's not helping out. But for now, everything else doing well. Let's see if we can get that imbalance coming out to the negative side. It did look like for a second that maybe there was going to be some movement through that 39.90. Didn't get it. We bounced back up. We're going to take another shot at it. But all this is not going to make a difference until we get to the imbalances, regardless of what the number is. We've seen numbers. I mean, what day was that? November 30th, last day of the month, 11 billion is what we had. I think it was a buy too. No,
Yes, it was 3, I think, billion, and then it came out 11.
It came out 11, yeah. Whatever that day was, the official, when it came out, it was 11 billion on the amount. So those are the numbers that you're used to seeing when there's actually things that need to be done. 200 million, you know, it's gonna do something if the market's quiet enough, but it's not gonna have the same effect as that kind of a number, right? So here we are kind of just waiting for it. A few minutes left before we get that update at 350.
Yeah, no, someone put in the chat there about a SoFi split. I don't think that's going to be happening. There's no point in SoFi reverse splitting. They don't need to do that. I think the only time you ever want to do that as a stock is when you get near that sub $1, and then you get that listing warning from the exchanges. So I don't think SoFi would do that. I don't see why they would do that. There's no point in doing that. So I don't. If someone's spreading that rumor around, it ain't us. I did mention it because I did see it there. I don't think there's anything about that. So shout out to whoever mentioned that. If you have a source, let us know, and we can double check that. But I don't think that makes really any sense to anything. Eli Lilly today, 52-week highs as well, really busting out, man. Some of these names on the Dow just keep on going. I own Eli Lilly, and we did talk about this. I can probably find it on my Twitter when we bought this name. It's really working. I haven't sold any of this, so that's been a good name here. Eli Lilly, nice upside move, as we only have 3 minutes now until the imbalances. So I've taken away that Tesla idea. I might as well cancel my win now. It doesn't seem like anything's happening. Cancel that. I'm just trying to sort of go through everything now, all these orders, and just get ready to set up for the close. I have 5 positions on right now, including that new one on NEO. We've taken some profit on NEO, so so far so good there. Tesla, I'm going to cancel. I'm going to cancel my Tilray. That doesn't matter. NEO, we still need in. Let's find an out for Tesla. I mean, it's just dropped down. It just bounced off 180.50. We called 180 as a bottom there today, so we probably should have taken that. I'm going to sit at 181. I mean, if this imbalance comes out and just goes down to 181 and gives us it, we'll take it. So we'll put a bid right there, 181 flat, in and around there. It's at 0 something. So hopefully that can come in and print us out on TSLA. We are noticing, obviously, a bottom there. We called 180. We got pretty close, man, 180.50. Nothing wrong with that. So let's not, let's make sure we do capture some profits if that does happen. Meta right now still to the upside, trying to go as well. waiting for that. Hopefully we can get a 122.40 fill on that name. Our tops really isn't moving. I'm gonna get out if this breaks 2 here. I might also put that order in right now as well. And we only have now 2 minutes to go. So I'm gonna put that order in, basically 199. I'm not even gonna give this one too much space here on tops. If it breaks, and we'll just punch out for that one. Neo, I mean, good fills on the bottom. We took this fill out. We were going to get out at 95 break anyway, so this is going to be a very light trade. So we're already out of half now for 4 or 5 cents. Really sucks. I mean, we wish we could have got more, including that bottom there on Neo. It doesn't look like it's a huge trade, but we'll still take some profit as profit here into the close. I have over 200 fills today, so it's been a pretty busy day, and we're trying to end the day positive. I don't know. We did take some big hits earlier. We actually messed around with Netflix. We got hit on this one as well. Look, we were long in here 319 off of this shelf. When that broke, I actually was trying to get filled, and we actually missed the fill. So that got pretty nasty here. That was right at 11 o'clock. We missed the fill. I averaged it, and then we had to get out right there at 317. So a bad trade on Netflix. But we made some back, a decent amount back, as we bought that bottom right there. We told you guys, we actually had it on our sticky note today, 316 on Netflix. So when that came in, we took that up to 318 before this happened. So I was going to say I like this Netflix 311 bottom. We just don't have enough time left on the clock here with only seconds until the imbalance hits. I know Arun has it up, so we'll take a look at that together. But right now, imbalance is coming in. Neo's back down a little bit. We'll get some more fills here, hopefully at 81, and then we'll start it from there. But 81 looking good. Tilray also still hovering pretty good as well. We'll watch Tesla with the imbalances coming out in 10 seconds.
Yeah, as someone mentioned in the chat, early look imbalance is always going to be lower than the actual number, right? So in the direction's not guaranteed. So we'll see how this one comes out, but 226 is not going to be 226. And here we are, nothing.
I don't really,
yeah, that
did
was
the market move at all?
Yeah, okay. That's what happens. And oh, look who's at the top again. BBD, Vail, ABEF, ITUB coming straight out of Brazil there. It's been there for days now. I know B3 was doing some, B3 is the BOVESPA, or formerly BOVESPA, out of Brazil. That's their index. And I know they were doing some indexing action, but that was like a while ago. So I'm not sure why they're what is it, ADRs now?
Yep.
Is that what they're called? Or I thought they call them something else.
Maybe they are treated differently because they're Brazil. I mean, they should be Brazilian ADRs.
I thought they were ADRs.
I mean, they're listed.
Or are they ADSs? Okay, well, it doesn't really matter.
Do I know the difference between those?
Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't even know the difference. I just remember that calling them
Receipt
ADSs.
versus security. I mean, I guess ADS would be security.
I don't know what the regulatory difference is. Anyways, they are there. And then you have Comcast, CMCSA, not
Brennan
that
just said
big.
it was $1 billion to sell, though, but it doesn't really feel that way. I don't know.
And the market's not responding. But $1 billion to sell doesn't have the same weight.
Yeah, not anymore.
The expectation is like 200 something, and it's $1 billion. The market can handle $1 billion now. It's not that big of a deal. It needs like a few billion to actually get going. So you're not getting much pressure there. We'll see what the stocks are bringing. Comcast, not that big of a deal. Let's see. Comcast shouldn't be that big of a deal. Yeah, I mean, look at the book. It can handle 2 million, and you're assuming that 2 million actually holds after 355. Highly unlikely. SWCH is the next one. Oh, definitely not. Is 1.5 million. It's done 4.3 on the day, and it looks like this. Good luck to you if you think that's going to happen. That's going to make a difference. And then Lumen, is that Luminar or is that Lumen? I don't even know what it's called. LUMN. What's the name of this stock?
LUMN.
Lumen Technologies. Okay. And that's 1 million shares with a 20 million book, and you see what the level 2 looks like, the depth looks like, right? That's not going to make a difference. So you're not really getting much here. There's no action, no index names at the top of the list. If you have Apple or anything like that that has a decent size, you might get some movement, but you're not even getting Apple or any. Oh, Apple's down here. What is it? 331,000 to buy on Apple. That's not going to do anything. So here we are, a whole lot of nothing. So now that means I gotta wait until. Yeah, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to start taking some out now. This has.
I just did the
this
same
has been
thing.
Great, but it's time to start working our way out. Remember, we're a prop firm, right? So we got to be flat by the end of the day. So we can't swing anything overnight. So we do need to be flat by 4 o'clock. We can extend it a little bit. You know, if there's liquidity in some names, you can extend it, but we do need to be flat by the time we leave. So I'm going to start working my way out. Etsy most likely won't get more than $5, but for now, we'll take $4.28. I think that's a pretty good win.
All right, so there it is right there. We got out of Tops. I'm just trying to cancel some of these orders. We got out of, so Tops, first of all, Tesla took 182. Yeah, it sucks, man. We did want to get that 180 flat or 180.50, something like that. It just didn't come in, and whatever, man. We will take that out and get out of there. Tops, a good trade for us as well, 208. We'll take that all day. There's the Tops long from the morning, 175 break. We're out right there. It sucks because we don't have that Tops on that stock, but it's still a good trade for me. Out right there, Tesla, well traded by me, well held anyways. It wasn't really well traded. We held it pretty good, down to 181. Yeah, I wish it could have gone a little bit more, so not super happy with the execution, so I meant to say not well traded, not well traded. We should have got out down there at 180.50 when we first did see that. So again, that's obviously, I keep saying it's on me, but every trade that we make is on us, man. We're responsible for all these trades here. But like Arud said, if you're joining us, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like button. I don't know what our likes are at. I haven't even looked today. They weren't great in the morning. And I feel like there's a lot of people just hanging out, not really, you know, making too many trades, which is fine. But if you are here, make sure you do hit that like. Quick little check in on it so far. Thanks, Bears versus Bulls. Great job here today. Only 867. Come on, man. We can get to 1.5K. Right now, over 4,400 watching. Hit the like. There it is, already up there. Who's going to be number 1,000 to come through? I think I was like number 13 today, so not too bad there. 983 on that. Please hit the like button, and thank you so much again for coming through every single day. It'll be Neil and myself tomorrow, so that should be really good, and I am hearing that Prad is feeling a little bit better, so we're going to wait. There it is. Come on, let's go. Here goes Meta, man. This is the one that we're waiting to get out on. We're at 122.35. I don't know why. That's right there. 41s is the top. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a bump up. Come on, a little bit more. Let's get greedy here and get it. Let's go 122.35 to end the day with a 90-cent win on Meta. Can we get it? Maybe we cannot. And when you say that, it goes. So there it is, nice little trade there for Meta. We grabbed that bottom, that's $1, well 90 cents, sorry, in for that as that's come and gone here on Meta. So pretty happy with that trading. Let's just go over to the only other position that we have right now. I got to cancel my Tesla bid. That's not coming through. How about Tilray right now? This trade definitely working out for us. Nice take off 450. And again, why did we take the 450 on Tilray? It just goes back. And unfortunately now my trade's not here, but we rinsed and repeated that same trade from Friday. So we had that break there at 450, went all the way up to 470, basically where it went today, and then came back. So we already had that out now. Let's just take this Tilray out right here as we lie with only 4 minutes to go. It's a nice little upside move, 466. This is basically where we got it out at. Tops, we got it out at 08, womp womp. It's up to 13 now, so that's not really that great. But let's do the Tilray trade if we can right now. Take it out, 67. Hey, man, that's good enough. Market's starting to really scream to the upside. Our Meta's still good. Good out for us on Tesla as well, as that's now taking in a shout out to you, Dan McIsaac, because you said, Sean, when you mentioned 181 might have been a good out for Tesla, yeah, that would have been even much better out than 182. So there it is right there, but still pretty happy with it as this market is running to the highs here. Not highs, but back up to a decent level, only down 2%, but still nasty day moving forward, or, you know, when you look back. Let's see what happens moving forward tomorrow. I'm going to take this Tilray out right now. It's now 10 cents, in the money and looking like a 67 is a decent spot.
Yep. I mean, you saw that pop. We're out, right? We're flat now. I'm content with how this day kind of rolled around. So we're good there. You see how profit taking comes into play. I mean, it was a quick little move. Once you got about 4,000, it was a quick move to 40.03 and change, whatever. It did go up. So we are flat. Imbalances, going back to the imbalances, nothing's really changed, but I also don't trust any of it. BBD, ABEV, VAIL, ITUB, don't really care. That's out of Brazil, that's out of B3, so we're gonna leave that alone. SWCH and Lumen can handle whatever's on the imbalance, so that really doesn't make a difference. HPE, are you gonna do anything with HPE? No. 746,000 shares, you see the book. that's not going to make a difference. And I don't even want to bother going through the rest of it now because then it just gets too small. When you start to kind of pay attention to imbalances is when they're large, right? When they're relatively large, and none of these imbalances are large, and it shouldn't be much of a surprise as this market now looks like more people are trying to work their way out as this is now at 4005 and bouncing. So upside we go, back above 4,000, setting up tomorrow's read. Let me just give you guys how I'm going to look at it. So when I come in the morning tomorrow, unless there's some crazy movement tomorrow overnight, I'm most likely going to be looking at this zone for potential fades, right? 40.10, 40.20 into 25, 40.35 is going to be the stop. Let's see if they can actually get into that zone and start to slow down, right? And we have a ton of time, right? Between today's close, or not even today's close. I mean, equity closes at 4, futures market open till 5, and then from 6 p.m., they're closed for an hour, and then from 6 p.m. until tomorrow 8 o'clock or 8:30 when we kind of get going again, there's a ton of time for this market to digest how it wants to play through 40.10 and into that 40.30 area. So there's a lot of time, which is good, I think, if we get into that zone and we start to kind of get some more sell side pressure. Right now, I'm going to discount all the buying to end of day, closing out of positions. We like small short-term positions being closed out, taking profit, whatnot. It's been a good day for a lot of shorts. So that is where I imagine a lot of this rally is coming from. But if we can just keep going a little bit more into that 10s and 20s and 30s, not into the 30s, 10s and 20s into the mid-20s is fine. Then I'd like to fade this. We'll talk about it tomorrow when I come on board tomorrow when we do the 9 a.m. spot. But most likely 40.35 will be the level I'll use.
Yeah, thank you, Del, the day trader there. Yeah, it was a pretty good show today. It's too bad that we ran out of time here because this Microsoft long at 249 that we talked about where we got out, we were like, we probably should be punching long here, swooped up above the 50 period, heading towards the 200 period. If anything, it was a 200 period break. That would have been so good. 249.30, that went all the way to 250 before bouncing back and giving you the reload right back up to the upside. So Microsoft on the radar tomorrow. I wish we just had more time. We'd be long a lot of these names, man. We talked about, both Arun and I talked about like getting long. Okay, we only have a couple minutes now, couple seconds to get going here. With only 10 seconds now, the countdown is now on, and we get ready to wrap up what was a very, very good Monday. Tons of opportunity to trade today. And we only have 3, 2, 1, and that's a wrap. I like it. And that puts an end to Monday right now. What a good day it was for trading, man, especially if you're on the short side. And then a couple good pickups late if you're able to look for that bottom and be a little more patient with that. So, yeah, so far so good here. I'm pretty happy with the day trade today. I feel like we made a good move in the last little bit. They're recovering nicely. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I still feel like this bear tomorrow still stays bearish. I'm not... I'm going to wait for the Fed to sort of save the day again, which I don't know if that's going to happen, especially like imagine they do 75 points, yikes, on that one. But not great numbers this morning, which is what sent the market to the downside. They were decent numbers on ISM services, but it just led to the fact that maybe the Fed is not going to hike or is going to hike 75 rather than the 50 that was expected with some of the numbers that we had previously. So, all right, not a bad day. I keep saying that. So let's see how we finished up overall. I want to check that oil number too. Let's go over to Brendan.
I was just double checking as the CME Fed Funds tool, still no change whatsoever from what we saw last week, 77% favoring the half point, so pretty much locked in at this point. Here's the markets for you to end the day, 1.74, 1.5, 1.7 to the downside, off the lows for all three. They do save that 4,000 level, at least temporarily, for the S&P. We'll see how we do tomorrow, guys, but yeah, pretty ugly. 3.3 there for crude.
Triple threes up on the board. So, yeah, good. Arun, it's been a pleasure one more time again, of course. We'll catch you tomorrow at about 9 o'clock-ish when you'll be in your attire for your at-home trading. And we will see you at that point, and we'll talk about some more levels. Could be really interesting overnight. I know the market likes to move a lot, especially when those Chinese names and then Europe opens up as well. We could get some moves, some blast-offs there. Oil being down 3%, a catalyst for the market as well. So we'll see if that can rebound into tomorrow. And then we'll see when Hong Kong opens up, some of those ADRs there in Japan as well, in the Nikkei. We'll see if they can hold today and tomorrow, into tomorrow. And then we'll be back trading some of those once again. Hopefully I'll be able to leave Xpeng and Neo alone. But I don't know, man. They've really cost me some bread here in December. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But anymore. Oh, poker was great. I could only stay. I had to go grab the kids. I could only stay for an hour there on Friday, but it was a profitable one. So that was good. And I saw Prad tweeting out that he was taking all these guys' money, and then I think at the end he wound up giving it all back. So
typical Prad, right?
Exactly, no surprise there. But I had a great time, and I look forward to trading or playing again. Fortunately, Neil and Brendan weren't there; they had to go, so that was the end of that. But yeah, Brendan, you play poker, and hopefully we'll get together a little bit there, and we would do a more official poker night. But that was a lot of fun. There it is right there. I just saw the note. Tesla shares dropped 6.4%. It's most in 2 weeks, Brendan. So there we go for that. You have any opinion on Tesla?
I was just reading that same thing, and it's interesting on that. You know, Reuters comes out and says that production cut number is false, not true. So, I mean, there was zero bounce there whatsoever.
Yeah, no love for Tesla on the bounce. But I think there's a lot of love for Tesla. So one positive story, and we can flip that all around for the Tesla holders. And I want to say bag holders. I don't think it's gotten to that extent quite yet. But okay, for everybody here at Trader TV Live, we got to film some evergreens. You nice. Don't, Tarun. You out of here. So thank you again for coming through. I want to thank Bears vs. Bulls. Obviously, Brendan, a great job. I've already sort of given the praise to Luca and to Sharif, and get well soon, Prad as well. Good morning show, good afternoon show, and hopefully it was a good closing show as well. Thanks to Lucas on the ones and twos, and Rob, who filled in a little bit today as well. Shout out to Liz, who's at home, and Katrine, who rang the opening bell. All right, that does it. We ran the gauntlet right there. Join us tomorrow at 8:30, and we'll trade these crazy markets again together. So for everybody here at Trader TV Live, I'm Sean, that's Arun, and the big guy in the middle is Brendan. We'll catch you tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao.